Sturts.
Cosa Nostra.
So, welcome to the Fragments of Eternity. That game that we play that's sometimes related to Starfinder. I am Ryan, the GM. It's session 91. It's the 19th of April 2021. That's right, it's still calendar year 3 for this game. And here are the players.
You suck, Colin. That name. That name's
right.
cheap. That's cheap.
First of all, I'm the first to call. So allow me to quote the late Mick Jagger. He's not dead. To quote Mick Jagger, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm not a man of welcome days, but I am a man. Hello, I am Colin. I will be playing not who I was about to say, but in fact, Lyco Quint, your sneaky, spooky, altogether cookie space cop, coast to coast. Take it away, Nico.
Hi guys, it's your boy.
Yep.
Nico
Hi,
here.
boy.
And I'm playing Zora, the best captain.
Yep, the heartbeat monitor is working in full swing perfectly. Yeah, intros are
Magically
definitely.
up when I started
Yep.
speaking. I saw that.
Oh dear.
That's what I bring to the party. Tension.
From tension to intention. Hi,
Okay.
I'm Callum.
Oh no, your volume's gone.
No! Hi, I'm Callum, and I'll be playing Zig, the mystical burning rat. Sorry.
So those at home, we haven't been playing for a month. It shows.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Mm.
The birds!
So does
The
anyone
birds,
remember
the
what
birds.
Starfinder?
Yeah, what is a Starfinder?
Have we found the star? Yeah.
Where have they all gone? Yep. Oh dear, so good. So my hand isn't on my mouse, right? And according to this, I was at 94 for ages there. So good.
But look, there's nothing around it when your hand's not on the mouse. That's how you know.
Mm. I'll let it read me again.
If you don't know, now you know. To paraphrase Biggie Smalls.
Sure. Yeah.
R.I.P. Biggie.
Mm-hmm. So,
For quite a while.
funny side note story, right? Not just to dox people or anything, but obviously nobody knows where I live anyway, so that's fine. And it shall remain that way. But I got some post in the other day, and a letter was addressed to Mr. R. Kelly. And I'm
Okay.
I don't think this is your address, R. Kelly. What
Did you hit him up with a little preview of the remix?
Oh dear. It was hot and fresh out the kitchen, luckily enough.
That travesty, a human being that guy is.
Right.
Sorry, R. Kelly.
My,
Sorry, silly.
so
Sorry.
back in primary 7, my last year in primary, our leaving song that we all performed was "I Believe I Can Fly." And thinking back, it's not aged well, has it?
No. He's no aged well, period. Really.
Yeah. Oh dear.
You know what also hasn't aged? His taste in women.
Oh my God, Colin.
I was sitting in the
Yeah.
closet.
Yeah, I bring this fucking shit.
You've seen like the R. Kelly musical thing that he made?
I've seen clips from it and it's terrifying.
Sitting in the closet. He's on my wife. Like, that's basically what it is.
So bad. Why?
So why did you get mail for R. Kelly?
I don't know. Actually, it was very odd. I don't even remember if it was like propaganda mail through the post because of the time of year it is, but I think it was propaganda post.
The Soviets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a very nice colour of red, the envelope, you know. So anyway,
Sorry.
so
Sorry,
what do you
Notice
remember
what-
from last time?
I remember those crystals
Yes.
that used to be a drow lady. It was the queen. It was our queen, not the other queen. And
Yeah.
Zig was with
The
her.
good queen.
And I was doing stuff.
Yeah.
And things.
I think, yes, stuff and things and shit.
Things.
And
Yeah, stuff.
the captain, did the captain talk to his boss?
Not
Captain
yet.
Admiral?
Did I speak to your boss? I
Well, you
did
may
speak
or
to
may
your
not
boss. I
have.
did speak
You
to your
did at
boss.
some
That's
point.
right. That's right. Aye, I told him I would go speak to him. I spoke to him. Genuinely, that was how the conversation went, right? I'm pretty sure that's like, right, don't want to say too much your lines. Let's speak to
That's
each other in
fair.
person.
He was very pleased with his new drift beacons. Remember?
Oh, drift beacons, that's
Oh
right.
yes,
Drift
that
beacons.
tied into the thing with our lost midget.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're
But
on the subject of R. Kelly.
it did, but I don't think we've actually lost midget there in drift for a week till it's
No.
up and running. So it probably doesn't really help a lost midget at all, unless we find one of these beacons and jack it without his permission, which we probably should.
Or maybe he somehow uses it. I don't know.
We should
We'll roll some
probably
dice
do
and
that.
decide.
I mean, it's exciting times. Let's face it. Either way.
So
exciting times.
he was able to track us in drift with the beacons, right? So can we like jury rig them so we can track them in drift?
I think the phrase "track in drift" is interesting. I think he phoned and you answered.
I mean, how does he know I'm in drift? I mean, fucking bug.
Maybe
That's
just
why,
left.
because Weird doesn't go.
How
down
do you
the
know he
fucking-
wasn't in drift when he phoned you?
He probably was.
See? And what was his test? His test was purely to test if it worked to phone in and out of drift.
Maybe he just kept on phoning me on. Like,
Finn kept hanging up and went, I should probably answer at least one of these calls. Alice was like, if it's not me phoning you and I'm not on the ship, don't answer. He was like, what? Okay.
Have I told you, Demogesh, me? I'm not interested.
They're telemarketing. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, what else happened? So we have Viagra got crystallized. You know.
Yeah.
I really don't remember that part. Honestly, don't know much that went right.
Don't worry,
it
you're
was
not
a
there.
Shock, and I was.
Me too, to be fair.
Yeah. Ergolas
Some
was
of my
like,
best friends
"Oi,
were
what you doing here?" And I was like,
Mm.
by I mean Zig. Zig was like, "Oh." Callum was like, "Oh God, why?
Tell me
Why do you do this to yourself?"
Tell me why.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. So,
Yeah.
what was I doing?
You and the captain and Weird all went down to speak to the coroner
Yeah.
versus Calva, the Lashunta coroner, who was a tiny bit creepy because he was very
A little
pro
bit.
experimenting. I hadn't, which keeps him
Definitely gave me some like Birkin hair vibe.
That's fair. I think as well we had Weird asking if the captain would buy him a cryogenic chamber. We had that too.
Okay.
Cool. Did I agree?
I think you said there was
Sort
other
of.
more important things, but also not a no. Is what Weird took from that.
He wanted us to requisition it, which I told him that it was unlikely the stewards would be willing to do for us. And also, no. So I suggested that I might try and speak to them if we can get any suggestions or where we might purchase such a thing.
Yeah.
Was that a session where we were like spitballing with what's his face as well? Edgar? No, that was the session before.
That was one
No,
before, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Where Edgar just like firmed up my paranoia.
Yeah. Kind of half blamed Zig for possibly everything. Yeah. Only half blamed.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, like theoretically, you could be responsible for everything, is what he was saying. Or it's the
I'm not saying it
Bone Sages.
is the case,
Yeah.
but it could be.
Because he was
And
like,
if it
wait, you've met a
was-
bone sage that messes with memories and another one that messes with
Mhm.
time? Aren't you saying the gap is a big thing that people give a fuck about? Yeah. I heard a lot of theories, actually.
Could be bunnies.
Yes. A dancing demon? No, something isn't right. So yeah. Okay, if that's what we remember, I think the best thing to do then is to open up with goals, and we'll review those. So,
Oh,
because I often forget to do that. So, tell me what your goals are. What's the personal goals?
My personal goal is discover what the Solarian Crystal does.
that's my.
Still not really done it in the actual go about that, but yeah, sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My personal goal is to uncover how his electroencephalon came to be.
Yeah.
That is him being like, Quinn, not me. I don't exist in Starfinder.
That we know of.
I mean, Earth doesn't exist, so I'm assuming I don't.
But I mean, there might be a Colin in it.
I'm sure there's probably someone in there. It's probably a horrific NPC.
You mean a finely crafted NPC? How dare you? Weird has established cybernetics business. Oops, all spines. And Zig.
My personal goal is to acquire the Void Egg, which seems to becoming more difficult.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
That's life.
Or doesn't, as it needs. But, you know.
General goals, we have deliver Edgar to Triaxis, we have discover what happened to CC, we have conclude the Kivallari case, we have gain useful MO info, and ensure Weird removes the VESC safeguard protocols. Some of these are just like fan favourites now, right? They tend to stick around and you're like, yeah, it's fine. I do
It's basically part of the party now.
I do feel like some of the ideas that we've got here, maybe we need to start trimming down that ideas pile again, just by going through the ones that are never getting done.
No.
Yeah.
I mean-
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you say, I mean, and then you look at the goal idea pile and you think, that's another year of roleplay.
Some of them are right. Some of them are obviously right. Kill him, and he's probably a right at this point. Until he betrays
Is
us.
it though? Is it really?
I mean, I'm not sure yet.
And you're on your
You
way
know
to
what's gonna
Traxxas.
happen? We'll delete it, and then we'll kill him, and we'll be like, "Oh, come on."
I mean, you're right.
This is how you
Be
end
dead.
up in year 3 of this game. Oh dear. That
I
and
mean,
my
God Slayer's definitely happening.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what God we're going to slay. Triune?
Why
Like,
not? Like, why not?
Just any god. Okay. Any god will do.
I think, wasn't the point, what's his name? Demoratosh? Wasn't that who you were aiming for?
Aye, both. Everyone. Fuck gods.
Because didn't that come from you going to kill Demogesh, but then you messed up Demogesh and Demoratosh all the time? So you were
Yeah.
like, fuck it, Godslayer. It's like, whatever I achieve first. Good enough. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, those are the goals. That's fine. And then
Yes.
we will open up with the boys in the morgue.
The
The
boys.
boys in the morgue.
It's
So-
your boys are here.
I
Just
was looking over some data
You were indeed. You were
to get.
perusing. I believe you were cliffhangered on Shakos had been put in a medically induced coma.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was the last thing you were cliffhangered on. So, what's the plan, boys? Weird goes weirdly quiet because he's probably looking over the inventory lists, trying to work out how he can get this cryo thing.
Someone accidentally put him in standby.
Standby.
Boy?
Yeah, standby
Yeah,
mode.
standby.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Standby your mode. Yep.
standby.
God mode.
Yeah. So I will most certainly be thoroughly perusing that file. Shall
So
I roll to peruse file?
there was very little about that. I think you're pretty much like your decision. I think you said yes to anyway. I think your exact words are "fuck it, why not." Was
Usually.
are you going to use your credentials to unlock this file? In which case, people will know you have read the file.
Yeah, I think that rings a bell.
Yeah, and it
I
was
would-
definitely a you shouldn't, but you can if you have justification. You'll just be questioned about said justification at some point. That was kind of the implication there. But I do remember you be like, yeah, I'm gonna anyway.
So he's gonna anyway.
Yeah. Like I think that's what happened to the end of last time as well. Besides,
You're a loose cannon, Quinn.
and Yeah, like you bring up the data on Calva's computer, Calva being the coroner, the nice Lashunta man, and you peruse through it. Can you give me some kind of whatever the fuck the investigate skill in the system is?
It's his job profession.
Probably.
Yeah,
Close
it
enough.
would be
Yeah.
my Spatchikov. Right. Not the worst roll. It's not great.
No, but it is like enough. It is like the lowest success you can roll these days. Just a 25. I think there's very little to kind of really glance other than a bunch of medical jargon that just involves like the conditions they're currently in, which is like the medically induced coma part.
Yeah.
But there is very little on why she was put into that. It lists her attending physician, and that queries have to go directly to Commander Babak,
Okay.
which is strange
Yeah.
that his name would be attached to her medical care. Yeah, but that's probably what you can glance on that.
You said something about like who would I speak to? Sorry, was that Babak? Yeah.
To get any more information, anything about Chakos is referred to Babak.
Yes.
But there is also like her, as I said, her physician. Just gonna make a note just now because I've said.
Yeah,
all
you
this.
said the physician's name. So
Chakos
who is this physician, right?
physician.
Garnishes with a name.
3 seconds.
It's actually, it turns out it was a random generator.
It was not quite as obvious or on the nose as Randam Generator. Jenny
Jean-Claude Van
Randan. Yes. It is a Dr. Halen.
Okay.
That's Halen.
So I think I would sort of mutter that aloud. Uh, what was the coroner's name again?
Calva.
Calva. Is it Dr. Calva, I assume?
He introduced himself as Calva, and that was it. He didn't say doctor or anything like that, but like he is a doctor. Yeah. He was very casual.
Dr. Calva.
And he kind of just spins in his chair and looks at you, and his little antenna twitch.
This Halem. They stationed here?
And he goes, Halen. He kind of like purses his lips a bit and just shakes his head to the side. Do I know them? Why?
They are treating a patient. I would like to get some.
He kind of nods and he's like, I mean, aren't you in the database? Just look up where they're based. You can just point at the computer.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me. And I will do that.
Yeah.
Their computers on.
No,
Can I
that's
just do
fine.
that?
You can just go through the admin process of typing in, I now wish to find this person's, designated location. Because of course, like that, especially in something like space, right? You'd have where the fuck people should be at any given time in an organization, right? Given how big space can be. So yeah, the location listed against Dr. Halen, and I will give them a first name at some point. Don't worry about that, folks. Yeah, it's a
Bam.
no, it's not Van Halen. It's
That
Helen.
was Van Halen.
Yes, and it is an N for November at the end of her name. And
Yeah.
yes, what would you even call it? Not location or site, but I guess what's the term for when you get a position somewhere, and that is your posting. Yeah, that's the term.
Yeah,
Like her posting's on the Calm Before the Storm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's interesting. And that's probably what I say.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I think Calvin just goes, "You found them?"
Calm Before the Storm. Makes sense.
He tuts and just like cycles back on his chair and just goes back to whatever he was doing. Like he's just already dismissed that. Almost like a very unimpressed as soon as they heard the Calm Before the Storm.
Okay. Curious, do I read anything into that?
Don't know, give me a reading into that roll.
I'll give you a sense motive.
Yeah.
37.
Okay. Yeah, like he clearly thinks very little of the Calm Before the Storm. Like that was a very dismissive kind of, attitude, shrugging it off, like almost like he was unimpressed or disappointed, right? Is what you get from that.
Yeah, so sort of as a beat later, sort of turn to him and go, not a fan of the medical department of the Calm Before the Storm, or is this something else that I'm missing?
He kind of like turns back around and goes, "No, but I'm seeing who got the job I applied for." And gives you a look. Do you want to be
I
stuck on
see.
verses where a bunch of stuck-up assholes? And he just looks at you like that is somehow almost partly your fault, even though it's not. But that's the tone that is carried with it.
Nah, he's looking at you thinking you're the stuck-up arsehole.
He chuckles to himself in the corner.
I just sort of go, see. That's a desirable post. I guess that makes Babak's probably scared. Captain, I think Admiral
The captain's
Admiral,
right.
I think I'm gonna need to get in touch with the Camp Before the Storm. We know where they're currently, because they're definitely not in the orbit of
They're not in Akaton, no.
Conan, right? So do we
Unless
have
they
any
were
idea?
like hiding, and you just couldn't
Okay.
detect them. But yeah, they were not in Akaton.
Okay.
But they don't log flight paths, obviously. So that chunk of data you've got,
That would make sense.
yeah.
I might need to request a list, or maybe we can contact them without.
I think you'd also know enough about being a steward, right? That if you needed to get in touch with somebody on that ship, you could just send
Run
the
up the flying boat.
yeah,
flying
like
boat.
legit. Yeah, it just means it would be through legit channels. That's all, right?
You're often slow.
Yes. You could flag it important, like all those emails. Yep.
Like those seagulls. I'm sure you just heard.
Yeah.
You know, like Babak's email address or something, you know?
Like his personal details. I think,
Yeah.
did Babak not give you something ages ago when you were escaping the Calm Before the Storm? Didn't he give you something? I feel like there was a scene where he was telling you to go to a certain place. Maybe I just imagined this.
I thought we would have got some contact details from him in some
Can we
sort,
right?
but I don't know.
If we
Like-
don't have, can we take a moment now and say we have contact, a sort of secret contact, and
Yeah,
if
like I don't think it's.
on it in.
I was gonna say there's definitely no. I have zero issue with you having a way to contact him, given how comfortable with subterfuge he seems to be with you guys. Yeah.
I mean, he's basically weird his way to get something dirty done without it actually looking like it's him that's done it. Like that's how his fucking records.
His record's amazing, yeah.
Like us. He loves people like us, man.
I was sort of kind of nod my head and sort of mutter, yeah, maybe we'll just have to. I think that'll be the phrase that I use. Run up the flagpole's a good sort of military jargon sounding thing. Have to run up the flagpole. Okay. Not getting much this file. Yes. Chasing that up. And what he was he working in someone's bloods at the moment or something?
I think it was it Weird Split was the last one to go through. And I think he just had like a lot of questions about why none of it really made sense for Android Blood.
It was confirmed that Fest got immune last session, wasn't it? It's like confirmed.
Yeah,
was
you
it?
tested your blood,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
And it didn't interact with your blood. And
Yeah.
yeah, that happened too. Man, it is like trying
So
to remember like a monthly show, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, how do you do it? I will just sort of pester him about that then. So, anything interesting in the Bloods?
Kind of looks at it and goes, none of it makes any sense. I kind of looks over it weird. Obviously, weird pays no attention. And
Yeah, I look over it weird and just sort of nod knowingly.
yeah, because weird doesn't make a lot of sense biologically anymore.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's got-
Right. And I think he just goes, and he brings up the the nice graphic for everybody at home to see, and he points at a couple of things, and he's like, "Can you see how the platelets here don't actually exist?" And he just like circles a bit on the monitor.
I'm gonna have to roll life science, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, with my mods,
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. Yep.
actually, that's not even a huge modifier. That was only a +5 there.
Yeah. I think.
I
you have-
guess I know enough to
I
know
was gonna
that
say-
platelets are a thing.
I think
It's
you
what I
just
look
don't know what you're
over.
looking at it. You just don't know what you're looking at, though. Oof.
Gets a nat
Oof.
20.
Look at you. So you both look at this, and you both have no clue what this guy is actually talking about. Right. Because again, I told you like you need to hit 25 to pass things these days.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I was just doing it for the sake of it.
oh no, I like it. I like
Up
that
alone.
you're circling it because you're the only two paying attention on Weird's behalf. And I think Weird just doesn't need to hear it because Weird probably already has guessed that his blood won't make sense anymore, given what weird metamorphosis he's been through. And obviously, Calva doesn't know that. So,
I
yeah.
think Zora's just like been interested in the fact that androids have blood. It's like, wow. Well, he's like, this is interesting.
Okay. That's
And he's going, so I don't really get why he's alive, but that. Did you say you all had an interest in this ooze?
sure. Is there something else you're thinking of?
No, I can't remember. Did you tell this guy that you're the ones that found it?
No, did we? Did we? I'm not sure.
We told him we'd be exposed, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the part I needed to know because I needed him to like put two and two together there. I goes, so maybe, and he's like, you can see light bulbs going off, right? And he's like, or going on, I guess is probably more accurate. Going off would be bad, right? And he looks like a weird one last time and looks up to you, Zora, and then goes, leave this with me. I'm gonna compare your bloods and the bloods we've got from those lot, and he points to the 6 chambers behind him. And he kind of like nods slowly to himself, like he's finished the sentence already. And then doesn't say anything. Just starts nodding and starts typing away.
If he's got a pad, I'll send him like contact details if I can on like near field.
Yeah, like you just swipe them over to his monitor. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Yep.
Anything you find after we're off world or what have you, contact us there.
He goes, right, sounds good to me. I am obviously if you can get me the go ahead to do any more invasive, and he goes to say the word experiments and goes, studies. That'd be appreciated. Kind of just waves like vaguely while looking back at his work. You can add Dr. Calva, the coroner, to your contacts list, I guess.
But, okay, I keep one of those, Ryan.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yep. I'm sure you will all remember such wonderful details in the future. Yep.
I suppose then
We do have a contacts list, do we know?
You have an NPC list.
Assets. It's an asset.
Put it in the assets list then, it's a good thing to have.
What was it? Calva?
Kalva. Calva.
Cool.
K-Al-Va. So I will say to him, Interesting. Yeah, like okay. Well, I think we've taken up plenty of your time. Thank you for the assistance.
I think he looks up at it and goes, you're welcome. Nods.
Yeah.
Like that's he often clearly doesn't get thanked for his work.
I will try and obviously, if permissions are given to share any information on the patient that might be relevant, he sort of, gives a kind of gesture of, what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
The command structure and all of that. Then I will pass it along. Now though, Captain, I think we've done what we can here.
Give him the stoic nod.
I mean, he's already back to typing and all that. He's
Yeah.
kind of like he's now interested in doing whatever this comparative study is between your blood, Weird's blood, and the victim's blood. So he's already said his goodbye. User as good as gone.
Anything else we need to tie up on verses before we leave? It's a character and in-character question, really, because I can't.
It's a question. Yep.
I think. That
Callum,
is
is there
question.
anything else on verses they should do?
I can't think of anything. But I feel like, do we still have the big list of everything that's on Verses?
We do. Yeah. Let me move to
It's
our
map o'clock, baby.
the sketch page.
Time to map.
You should also have an assets page that tells you what you've got where, right? As well.
I
but-
don't think the assets page is just for people. It's like
It
no
shouldn't- it sh-
stuff like that.
Car hole. We haven't visited the car hole.
But
So weird that my version of this doesn't look like this anymore. That's so weird. I'm just not going to touch anything and hope it all just works out.
Just
do we put
doesn't-
car
doesn't
hole up
really-
for sale and get a fucking payoff, man? So probably
that's-
never do that again.
That's strapped for cash. Yeah, it's probably full of like raccoons with machine guns by now. Like,
Yeah, mate, let's go check it out, man. There might be raccoons with machine guns, man. Let's go.
like you just need more
Fucking
pets.
army. That's an army. That's not pets. That's an army.
Well, we should at the very least visit car hole.
Also, apparently I went to 107 with that, Nico. That got me to 107 on the
Raccoons.
raccoons with machine guns.
Wow, you
107.
know.
I mean,
It's
evidently
pretty
you want
exciting.
them as well.
Oh man,
Everyone wants kids.
it's fucking
Right?
weird. I mean, fair, right? Fair, but yeah. Versus 11th hour ish. Steward, Babak, Carhole. So
How much money have I got? How
You
much
go
does it
through-
cost? to get
why do
all
we
this?
go through this every time?
I mean, I've got the money. I know how much money. I was just that be thinking out loud. I'm just well like, nah, I probably don't have enough to get
Yeah,
all the stuff
Right,
prepared.
let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see. How much? Like, work out how much you guys as a team have. I'm gonna do a wee quick Google to see if I can get a
Oh,
figure.
you know, a few.
I've
Not
got
very much, actually.
I've got 33,000.
I
Pretty sure I
have
gave away most of my money.
85,900.
It's like 28,000. 128,000. See,
Listen, I gave a lot of money away from party recently.
I've gave all my money
Yeah,
away.
I've got like
Okay.
24,000.
I bought weird a fucking power armor. Never get paid back for that. I don't think I did.
You don't pay
Got
wages,
that weird.
so
I know it's true.
there
It's
is
true. I
that. And he
just need to
does
give,
keep the
like,
ship
equipment.
going, all of them.
Okay,
He did repair
it's
all of the
true.
Kivalari mostly himself, right? So
I mean, I never expect to get paid back for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just a joke anyway.
I just
It's
wanted to
never a
highlight
thought.
that Weird does have value. Okay,
Uh-huh.
a lot of value.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
I'm just saying, when do I get a sugar daddy? I need a
And,
sugar daddy.
hey, you could have had one. You're gonna go visit me, you know?
I mean, true. I did. I mean, I did get. I had a sugar mama, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I
Cigar
suppose
mama,
it's
as
not
they
shit.
say. Let's see.
Right. Okay. What tier of ship was the 11th hour?
4. I think. No, 3. Sorry, 3. I think. I think is that right? Is that me just making up numbers?
It's got a character sheet in it. Can we check?
Should be able to, yeah.
You can, yes. 2
The
seconds.
11th hour.
The 11th hour, indeed.
Hour 11th.
Does she
1.
size 6?
Tier 1. Says.
Tier 1.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if it's been properly
It's,
done.
well, it's a
Um,
babby. It's not our finest.
Okay, so let's say 27,000 would get it back in the air.
I'll pay it all.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'll donate money, but actually I can't. I'm not there.
Because it would have been more, but there's still a chunk of ship left. There's just kind of expensive bits missing that Zig took. Like what was left of the drive. So yeah.
I'll pay it all. I can do that. I can
Now,
afford that. That'll leave
I
me
definitely don't think this is a super accurate
Yeah,
chart, but it's good enough with me. So that was 27,000 to start. But you'll need to go find somebody to actually go do that. And it'll take time, obviously.
I've got 6,000 left, sorry. 6,000, not 11.
Let me just make a wee note. 11th hour repair bill. 27k. Okay, so go find somebody to do that.
Cool.
Is that the plan? Is there anything else to do on, like, planet? Because we can just say you did that. I don't need that to be a scene unless you want it to be a scene.
I don't think so. Like, other than Carho, I don't really see a point in going to Carho, though. It's just not been, you've not been running it, so it's not.
We should go and see what's happened. It could be interesting. Also,
And if you can
what if-
punt it,
yeah.
I mean,
What if our enemies have
That was a
infiltrated
joke.
it and left clues?
That's
Like,
truck in Carho, right?
Edward Enigma.
But there's no way for us to get the truck up into what? Wait, can we? There's no like tractor
that one
grapple
reason.
hook on what shuttle was it?
There is. Remember, you could have attached Edgar's crate to your shuttle. Remember, you could limp it onto it and then just that. So you could limp it. I don't see why you couldn't limp it onto the top of the truck.
To get the put the truck up to the ship, and that way we've got a truck because we've not really got a ground vehicle at all, have we? In the
No.
shuttle.
Now,
Really.
I will point out that it will be. Now, imagine the underside of the final hour, right, with the 2 shuttle bays that have basically retractable like flooring in the shuttle bays, right, and use dock up into it and lock in place. Which means the truck won't have space to go in if you've docked with if that's magnetically stuck to the bottom. So you're gonna need to do some jank where you open the second shuttle bay door, let the truck just volley it into the shuttle bay so it drifts up on its own. Then you're gonna have to seal that.
Cargo bay? Is there a cargo bay now? The final hour?
The final hour doesn't land. Remember, it does not
I
have
know.
it's not atmo capable. And
Fucking
I'm gonna say
passion.
here, it's not deliberately atmo capable, is what I will state. Because we all know any ship that's not designed to be in an atmosphere can at least go in once. So yeah. You could definitely get it. You could get the truck up into the final hour. That is something you could definitely do. Just a bit of time it would take, but you could do it. It's then what you would do with the truck while it's in there.
That's what I'm thinking about. If it's a pain in the ass to get it, it's a pain in the ass to get it. Is it worth it?
And the amount of conversions you'd need to do to make it like launchable and usable from you may as well just buy a second shuttle.
Let's scrap it for parts. Sell the parts. Or blow it up so that no one can access our data.
Like your nav data on your truck. Yeah, fair. But you could, if you wanted it, you could try and just sell Carhole and the truck, right?
Probably
and
could just
Lyco's
do that,
original
right?
corkboard.
Because I really don't see you using that again. Do you see you using that again?
I don't think.
Okay,
Wait.
who's gonna sell it?
Okay,
Me.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I'll use my fucking amazing charismatic
we need to
powers,
go-
man.
we should
Are
definitely go to
you-
the car.
So wait.
Nice selling.
Are you going to use your celebrity status to sell Carhole?
Absolutely, man. Fuck it, man. That's been touched by the great hand of Zora, man. That's a markup. That's like at least a 100k markup, man.
So,
Like was slowly dousing it with petrol.
how much does the truck cost?
Fucking like 5k, 2k probably. No more.
There's stats for it somewhere. Go find that out for me.
I don't actually have stats. I did not know about that.
Yeah.
I was thorough. Yep. Way back in the first year of the game.
We were so
Is
much
it the hover truck? Is it the hover truck?
Uh-huh.
Right, 7k.
Right.
7k.
Okay.
I think that was
You're
like my
gonna
first
let
guess
that
as
go.
well. I was ingrained in my brain.
No, there's surely there's a markup since it has been touched by the hand.
Just to like auction it off.
7 years
I
later.
don't see
just
any
leave this,
problems with
yeah.
this.
Right, Nico, I need you to give me a roll that is
Okay.
for Zora for, like auctioning, I guess. But that really is just actually haggling to sell your shit. There is no auction. There's
Okay.
just finding a buyer, and that'll be easy if you just use the I'm a celebrity button.
So profession button, I guess.
Is this the button? No, because I suppose if you're using, do you actually have a profession written in your profession skill section or not?
Nah, it's
Then
just called profession.
you don't
I
have
can
one.
change it.
Oh, you don't have one then.
War hero. I guess I
Nope.
could just change it to because I've been using it as anyway all this whole game. Like really, like because I have been using it like that. I've been just basically asking for profession if it would fit into me being a war hero.
Look at our car hole.
It's so
Look at that
good.
cow.
Oh, you can't sell
It's
that.
the classic. We need to visit it before we sell it. Come on, we can't just sell it.
What would it be? Then
Oh, what have you got?
what would it be?
And is it
Well,
diplomacy?
I've got diplomacy. I mean, I can do that.
It might be, right? Because remember, there's no
Of course.
negotiate bullshit. It is diplomacy.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it a diplomacy. Click then.
Well, bam.
I probably have said I'll not play that. I'll not say that. I got a 35 anyway. It's fine.
What were you gonna say?
I mean, I probably have said eerie influence running right, but I've not said it this session, so it's no running. Like,
It's okay.
because it basically like kind of always runs. If I've used it till a battle or something. Can't
You just
remember
remember how
when it-
much car hole costs you.
Oh,
I've not actually put the whole thing. Yeah, duration to length combat.
I'm gonna guess that's a no from everybody.
Not a fucking clue.
No, not a clue, man. I really don't remember how much.
Roll a d20 for me, Nico.
Slash.
Okay.
Ah, look at me roll well today, man.
I know, right? So weird is the Jinx.
Mm.
Or maybe like when he returns to us, he'll be called Jinx. Who knows?
well, isn't that strange?
And ironic. Cool. You can sell everything for 15k.
15k?
Yep.
Ah, fuck it. That's like half price ship repair.
Mhm. Yep.
I'm never going to use it anyway. Screw it.
Remember,
Okay.
you literally bought a out in the middle of nowhere, not convenient to get to place, so that you were off the grid.
We did.
Versus,
We did.
yeah.
It's like an
Which is
upgrade.
why it's not going to be, premium real estate. The fact that people are willing to look at it is because Zora is famous. So there you go.
But before we
Okay.
sell it, can we please visit it?
I mean, sure. I don't see why you just couldn't. Again, it's just going to take time. Like, how do you want to take the Vesk shuttle there?
I mean, can we? Is
We're
that
gonna
allowed?
sell it. We're gonna make its existence. pretty
Let's strip
fucking
it for
obvious.
parts. Let's just take parts of it and
That's
shit,
an
right?
idea.
Like, it's just
Also, that's sort of what I wanted to do is just check over it and see anything we've left behind that could be identifiable. See if anyone's been in there.
scrap material can be useful to somebody like weird or something, right? He's a wacky bastard that does shit. So like
Yeah,
fucking like
Well, not just weird. Also,
also
the
Cal,
little boy. The
yes,
little boy.
yes.
Also sick. Or the
Zig.
little boy, as we've now named him.
CC, I
Um,
think, was what Colin was aiming at originally there. I think.
No, I meant
Zig is
Zig.
also-
Right,
Zig is
okay.
also
I was
Conspiracy Craig.
trying
Fears.
to say
Don't
the
forget.
kid.
Are you forgetting that Weird, Alice, CC, and Zig are all a dab hand at fuckery?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, parts
Oh,
are
no,
good.
like they
Right.
can all get into it.
Parts are good.
But I was just
Um,
thinking
I was just
specifically of
player
the weird
minded.
bullshit
I was
that
player
those
minded.
two made.
I mean, if you're wanting to strip it, it'll push the price down. The selling
Fuck
price.
it, wasn't that much anyway. I don't really care. Like,
I mean, it gets it out of her hands, and it gets a few pounds into her hands. So
Yeah.
let's go have a look, see if there's anything worth taking, and see if there's anything identifiable.
I think the only thing really
about that.
worth taking would be, unless you had personal effects you wish to reclaim, and or the truck, right? That's about it.
Surely some repair parts for the actual car repair part, right? Or just like repair parts, materials.
I mean, no, because I feel like your business was ongoing and you bought in the parts you needed for the job she's got, because you were literally doing the bare minimum here. You weren't
Yeah.
actually. This was a front, remember, Nico? This wasn't an actual business.
Yeah, we made money when I worked for that front man.
You actually did, yeah, you did okay, quite frankly, in this.
Money. That funded us for like 2/3 of the game. Like the money we
Mhm.
got for that, I'm pretty sure. It's quite a lot.
Yeah. Also, technically retroactively, and I guess the opposite of retroactive, helped Zig out as well. The second Zig, this is.
Big 2.
Mm-hmm. So,
Was it 3?
are you stripping it for a pile of parts, or are you just going to take the 15k and sell it, but go visit it for one last time and maybe run magnets over the computers?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Run back this sort of computers to be strip it to be bother. We could probably just buy the parts for the 15k. Like fucking just like better
Well,
parts.
the other option was going to be I give you X amount of money's worth of scrap. That you know, that's then you're going to have to pack the shuttle full of scrap.
Fuck it, we'll just buy specific parts if we need them when the money we go. I'll just get shit that we actually need the money we get, right? Fuck this stripping. Because if we're not going to get in, it's actually useful, then what's the point?
So, taking the 15k, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good.
that's aye.
It's a good
Although
plan.
I do think we should go in and run the magnets,
Aye, magnets of the computers is a
or
decent
possibly
idea.
just destroy them.
Okay, you just want to give me the, I guess, counterintelligence roll. Probably you, Lyko, you're a space cop, right? You could
Yeah.
probably run
What's my role for counterintelligence?
space cop, right?
Space cop.
Oh,
Probably.
actually, when we go in there, can I roll an insight?
I loved how his space cop was basically turned into like the +5 in 13th Age.
I mean,
You know what I mean, right?
but
Yeah,
it is, though. That's kind of how they work profession, though. That is how they
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
it
word
pretty
that.
much is.
Yeah.
But I
So-
was thinking, can I do like a quick check to see if I see any trace? This is probably also going to be Space Cop. Fuck. See if I see any indication that anyone's been in here.
Yeah, it probably is. Like, I think the whole thing's space cop, so it's up to you if you want to risk 2 rolls or just want to go for 1 roll to do everything.
But let's go for one big one.
Yeah. Well, hey!
I made the right choice.
You definitely made the right choice. Right, it definitely looks like somebody's been in here. But it doesn't look like there's anything missing that you can remember. But then you all kind of did leave in like a mad panic of a hurry.
It was weird.
Well, it was probably an X5 at the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember, but there was a bit of a diner explosion. And
Yeah.
then there was being called by your boss that you hadn't spoke to in a long time. And one of the dropships you now have picked Zora up. And then, yeah, there was a lot going on back then. Ivan went a wander to try and rescue people. Yep. It was good times. But yeah, so you can pretty much just clear the place of your presence. I'd say a 42 is pretty... You could probably be
Nice.
quite comfortable with that.
Okay. Yeah, going over the computers, hitting the fail-safe.
I'm just surprised there's still a truck there, to be honest, but since Ivan was there, when I think about it.
Remember, Ivan left. Ivan wasn't last here. It was SK
I know, he
and
came out.
Lyko that were last here. Out of the
Because
party.
Ivan went out the
Oh,
I know,
actually,
chasing after me as I was flying out to this guy. Like,
Zig, can you
letting him
roll
in, like,
stealth,
who, sorry?
Zig?
Stealth.
I already know the answer
Okay.
to this, but I just need to
He's been there. Fuck.
I don't remember what my stealth is. Why aren't my things? Come on. I swear this character sheet will load properly.
The trick is load it at the start.
When did you get back? Oh,
It
during
was
your
loaded.
away.
But it's thingies. There we go. Stealth, a Rooney, a Bloof.
Okay. So yeah, I'd say it is probably really difficult to tell, right? Given that's a pretty decent roll. But it looks like obviously somebody like Zig has been here a lot more recently than it would make sense for the timeline in your head. Because obviously you were last here, Lyko. So, because you're an escape left through her golden doors. It's a weird euphemism, I know. But, because you went from there to the party
Yeah.
on the final hour.
I was sort of. So I would have enough to go, those are some mighty small
It would definitely look like a
footprints in the
Soki. I think enough to confirm
Yeah.
as Soki, definitely. And it might, because I think Zig told you pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, we know
Basically,
that
I
he's
think
been
so.
sort of lurking around because of time.
Yeah, like, so I think
Because of time.
it's, if nothing else, it's maybe giving you like corroborating evidence that maybe Zig is legit here, that he has been back, even though he's been with you the whole time. So,
I
yeah.
don't think I'll say anything about it.
hmm
Just sort of quietly observe that.
Yeah, but it's definitely noticeable, worth observing. Yeah, but that's something that you definitely pick up. It's definitely like a who's been sleeping in their own bed situation.
Who has gone home?
Yeah,
as the tale finally
the new
goes.
Spider-Man movie. Yes, who has in fact gone home? Yes. Cool. Yeah.
What's
Right.
a Spider-Man?
I'm assuming you are all happy enough to wrap up Versus, or was there anything else you wanted to do here? So we've covered Carhole, we've sold it, it's gone. Get rid of it from the assets list.
Rip.
You can just write sold next to.
Carho.
Just put sold, it's best to.
Sold.
Yeah. End of an era. A nice neat map as well.
I
So
know, we made
good.
a really lovely map.
Yeah.
That is nice.
We worked
Good
together
map.
hard on that. Like, it wasn't obviously you did that.
That's true, actually.
We did
for,
work together
we
on
went
that.
for a full session making that, and then we just fucking went like 30 sessions later. And we're like, nah, I was just fucking saying, I'm not going to use it. Then.
Hey, we are who we are.
But it's so true, man. I don't really see you coming back to Versus and using it, really. Besides, we've got, like, what we call it now, right, to work after.
Agaton.
Limbs are us.
Oh, the Charon and the Azure Flare. The thing you are thinking of is this one, where we did. Everybody had a wee shot at making one.
Yeah.
And by everyone, I mean 3 people. But man, that's. You zoom out, there's 3 variants, and I do love that. Like, and they're all kind of similar.
You can always tell, like, was that me because of the insane doors? Yeah, it was. I forgot my color for a second there. It's like, I was gonna say you can always tell it's me because I do doors in an absolutely insane way, and then I was like, is it me? And then I pinged, and it's like, oh yeah.
It was the secret office and legit work area that gives it away for me personally.
Those are very much colonisms, aren't they?
Yeah. But no, that was what a weird time. And then I remember just being like, okay, fuck it, we're just gonna do this because it's the simplest of all those designs merged together.
The simplest of all worlds.
But yeah, so regardless of Carhole, it is now sold. You have any more business to do in Versus? I think I asked that. So is that us done? We done?
I think we're done.
I think we're
Versus. Let's get levering. And also, while we're traveling, I will send a cheeky email to Babak.
Okay.
So I just like plus the money back up a 15,000. Is that what you said? 15.
Yeah, 15k.
God.
Yep.
It was 21.
So was that a net loss of 12, essentially?
Yep. To get a ship We got a cargo for a ship,
Keep
essentially.
in mind, you did have a ship. It's just it was pretty fucked.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
we've got an operable ship again, really.
Well,
Well,
no,
I-
you've got a time limit, right?
Yeah. We'll have an operable ship. Like,
It's gonna be a while. I think I'm just gonna say it's gonna be an in-game, at least. Yeah, let's say 2 in-game months.
that's if we would never see that. It's been like 2 months ago since like we saw her marry. That's about like a year and 2.
I mean, to be fair,
Normal.
sometimes you just skip weeks and years anyway. So like, it's
Right.
but I have to just work out rebuilding a spaceship's probably. Maybe I could get away with a month. It is sci-fi, right? It is sci-fi. Yeah, and you did roll a 19, so yeah, we'll say 1 month. And if I don't want you to have it by then, whenever a month is, I'll just say there was a delay, so that's fine. But I don't really have a reason to not give you the 11th hour, so yeah.
Get stuff up ship again, right?
I mean, this is it. This is it, yeah. And arguably 5th ship if you include the shuttles. So yeah, the joys. Okay, so if that is you guys wrapped up on versus, what are you going to send to Babak?
Well, I think just a short message to the effect of, I'm not quite sure.
Or what does everybody else think you should write to Babak then? You do have a team here.
I am open to input, unless it's like you are a Willy.
I mean, that is a viable message. Shouldn't have wrote it.
Maybe something along the lines of, "Hello, Babak."
Okay.
It's a strong start, yeah.
Crystal lad here coming at you with some facts.
Coming at you live.
Okay,
Coming
I don't think they're
from
gonna
the-
do much for you here.
from the
Colin.
underground.
This is the sound of the underground, yeah.
This is the rhythm of the night.
Actually, first of all, that's a really good song.
Yeah.
That was good.
Sound of the Underground, that is.
Oh, the music of the night.
Oh my god.
Right.
Related
So,
concept.
right,
Okay.
but it's floated in my mind. What was the initial reason we were you're contacting him again for? Was it
For
about
to find out about Shekos.
Remember, any inquiries on Shakos's file for the medical-induced coma said
What did we
Babak.
decide her name was again? Wait, Shekos was her surname. No, her given name.
Shakos Ali, remember?
Okay.
Was that?
Floats like a butterfly, sings like Shekos.
I mean, I'm just vaguely remembering this. Yes.
That sounds
I think that's,
plausible.
I think that's what her name was. Shakos Ali.
I
Ali.
believe.
Yeah, I mean, I barely believe myself, but that's fine. It's close enough, right?
Do you believe?
Um,
I believe. I'm gonna start that before it becomes
Thank
too
you.
annoying. And then maybe start it again.
yeah, Shakos
Uh,
Ali. Yep.
Yep.
That was her
So
name.
Shakos Ali, I will send him an email saying Quint here, requesting access to further information on what was her current rank?
I think it was just officer, right?
Okay, officer. Officer is always a safe bet.
Yeah.
Officer Ali's condition.
Sure.
Um,
Status is also a potential, right? If you're-
status.
yeah.
Yeah.
Depends how kind of like specific, because I think if you say condition, that implies you already know. Doesn't
I
it?
think you would expect that I would already know.
Mm.
So I'm going to say condition,
Yeah, that's fine.
and you know what? I will so as to make it obvious I'm being forthright. I will say condition. Sort of re contact. How about that?
Okay.
because I'm sort of implying that I'm connecting her current condition to
everything else that's been
that,
going
and
on. Yeah.
still leaving it vague, so that if the channel were unsecure, it
Yeah, like I think
wouldn't give too much.
for the most part, I think you can be reasonably convinced this channel is more secure than going through the ranks. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say you have a guarantee it is secure at all times, because let's face it, if CC wanted in, he'll be in, right? But yeah,
although he's currently out.
yeah, he's mostly out. Yep. Okay, yeah. So you can beam that away to wherever the fuck he is. Cool. Good. And yeah, I think if that's the case, then you guys just head back to the ship, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
Yous took no. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yous took the Vesk shuttle, not the Azure Flare shuttle, because I remember yous were at the Azure Flare before yous departed.
Yeah, we took a Vesk one. At the same time, we used the Finida's shuttle. That one used that.
Yeah, and I think you get back. I assume you go back to Azure Flare then, because obviously Zig and Thanida should be there, and they're not when you get back. You dock to a ghost ship.
Well, rude.
Yeah. But the shuttle's still there.
Very rude.
Uh,
I think the last thing Zig said to everybody was, "Don't leave without me."
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, rude for.
Captain, I may have an idea. Finn?
Nothing happens.
Huh.
Because you're on the Azure Flare.
Oh, we're in the Azure
You
Flare.
speak to
Fuck,
him on the
I
shuttle?
No, I got confused.
I think you could speak to him on the shuttle, right? Because it's done the.
But it wouldn't
autopilot
help
stuff
us
on the
there if
shuttle,
we
right?
wouldn't have access to Azure Flare info. Yeah.
But I love the idea that Lyko would still be like, Finn, damn it, wrong ship.
Yeah. I can,
It is a
I can
good
do
scene.
that. Just so no, that's not gonna. Crew rec. Yeah, there's got to be records in this. So I'll go looking for your stuff.
Yeah. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to
Does
discover?
this ship track current lifestyles on board?
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think you can go and do a computer roll somewhere. Probably the bridge.
Well, I can if my sheet will respond.
It's fine. We'll wait.
Oh, it's better now. Yeah, go to the bridge and I will do a computer reach. It's not good, Ryan. It's not good.
No, it's not. I think it asks you for a password.
Oh, I could do this.
Captain, it wants the password.
Try. What's her sister's name?
Oh, Lanteral.
Dilanteral.
So, Lanteral, not Dilanteral, just Dilanteral.
Yeah, I think I hear him say that and nod, and then just put in Lanteral.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to roll a D100 for me?
I do, and I will. Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You take your time, buddy.
I have rolled. Did that go through?
It did. I got it. Thank you. Yep. It comes up a password mismatch. There is a command override box, but yeah, you don't outrank her.
Wait. Can I try and... She's not going to let me do it, but click it. What would it be?
Okay. Put in your passwords for your clearance codes.
Right, cool, I'll do it. Yeah, it's probably like fuck Demogesh is my like password or something.
Oh dear. But yeah, you put in your password details, and then it clicks. It comes up with confirm. Yes, no.
Yes.
Okay, and then it unlocks.
Okay, good. I'll step back and the thing to Michael.
Okay. Thank you, Captain. And if it's unlocked now, I can just get in, yeah?
Yeah,
Or-
and this time it is distinctively because he's the admiral. But yeah, you've got full access to the computer now. Yeah.
Cool. So I will then do exactly what I was saying. Like, look at life signs on board.
Yeah, I think it just says that obviously it tracked all of you when you came on board. You go back to that time code, right?
Yeah.
On the ship, and you just scan forward until you leave. And I'm pretty sure timeline wise, you hadn't left by like 5 minutes before like they jumped through the vault door. So yeah, I think there's just life signs in the lounge area, and then there's no life signs in the lounge area. Like they just vanish.
Are there any surveillance cameras?
I don't need to make a roll to know that this
There
is
is
gonna
no surveillance. There for obvious privacy-based reasons. Yes. Yeah.
So, but like, it's wondering.
I don't think I need to make a roll to know that that's SIG bullshit, right?
I mean, I don't know. It depends how suspicious you think Leica would be, because I mean, Thanaida's not exactly immune to her own bullshit, right?
I should roll something then, but what?
So sense
sense
motive,
motive?
yeah, that feels about right. Yeah, to try and piece things together, right?
Happily, I'm okay at sense.
Yeah, it's one of your better skills. Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah. If you knew being a detective, it'd be a handy one to have.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you start to piece together stuff. In the sense that you are familiar with Zig popping in and out often, and this is maybe also like starting to add up with things from Carhole that you're thinking, right? So there's definitely a lot. Maybe there's a lot more. I wouldn't say suspicion, but curiosity, maybe skepticism around Zig in general, given that he seems to have waited till you left and then vanished with Thanaida. Which is, I mean, Thanaida is obviously 100% completely trustworthy all the time. So
I will pretty much express that, Captain. I'll say, give me a sec. Okay, Captain. It looks like, yeah, the life signs are there. We leave, and then couple minutes, and gone. Just gone. Not exiting. Just there's no one there anymore.
you scan all the way forward until you arrive back on the ship as well, and you can see that, like, so you can tell the license that there isn't broken.
And then there's us arriving and up to present.
Wormholes.
I mean, my inclination is to say it's more of Dig's temporal antics, but
Wormholes.
I can't claim to know anything about wormholes, Captain. So I really don't know. But my bet is on something related to Zig. I'm not sure what the hell he could be up to at the moment, but pretty confident he's doing his thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
scratch my
Don't
head.
leave without us, he says.
I guess that means he expected to be back quickly.
Seems like it.
Yeah, because you're probably away for, like, many of the hours. Many of them.
Here's the thing. If we can't locate him, we can't follow him, so we don't really have much choice but to wait. Or, keep on moving and hope he catches up. Choice is in your hands, Captain. That's called the abnegation of responsibility.
Abdication.
Abdication of responsibility, not abnegation. I mean, it could be abnegation too.
Well, he did say don't leave a film. So let's just
Oh,
Set
I
this
spent
out.
103 there. 103, everybody.
103.
I think this is very accurate.
It was all the abnegation.
Abnegation, yeah.
Gets it going.
Yeah.
Wordplay.
Words.
Ah,
Yeah.
I don't have a joke. Anyway, so yeah, I think Lyco not being particularly well abreast of the whole business of the magical stuff. I wonder.
Luckily, your second
know-
best expert is with you. Isn't that right, Zora?
It's true.
I kind of think I just.
Can I go to the room and do some mysticism built bollocks? I don't have any because I don't have any sense magic or anything like that. It's a spell, so I wouldn't even I can't sense if shit like that's happening. How it works.
Yeah, you don't really have a interact with magic bollocks
Yeah.
power. You just have shoot laser beams or blow up.
What if I reverse my because
Your polarity, yeah. Okay, just yeah.
reverse my astrological sense and see into the past, but I can't do that
What about the
anyway.
neutron flow?
I couldn't do that even if it was possible.
Yeah.
Well,
Post
I
cognition.
can't do it even if I can do it. Damn it!
But what you need to do then, Nico, is look into the past to when you would have looked into the past to when you would have looked into the past. You see?
True, actually, that's how you chain it up.
Retro post cognition chain of custom. No.
Nah, but you've just given an idea, mate. It's happening now. I'm going to see what. Right, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to see what happens with Urgilas.
What, back in like session 8 or whatever it was, like.
Nah, mate, in the future.
That was a
We'll
Lyco
see.
special. Lyco was able
No,
to
that's
wander in
right.
the past.
Yeah.
Guess who has a mind link with somebody that might be able to help you, by the way, right now?
Me?
Yeah, you do.
Zach.
Nope.
No, done.
Who else
Cool.
is in the mind
Definitely.
link?
Weird.
Yep, he's here but not here.
Alice.
Alright, keep going.
Don't know. Who else?
There's one more person in this link that you've not mentioned.
I don't think Lyco was, is he?
He's not, no.
No, but someone is in my stead.
Mhm.
Cindy.
Yeah.
Cindy.
What's Cindy really good at? Literally everything we've just discussed.
Magic bollocks.
Magic and time bollocks.
Cindy.
No.
Cindy.
Now, before we have the meta conversation justifying Zora's actions, is this something Zora would do, or would Zora discuss this with Lyco first to see?
Yeah, I guess I would actually. Because I mean, I don't want to.
Summoning a bone sage is a bit of just a bit too casual.
Roll for the first time, something versus fear.
Well, like it's probably some kind of willpower based thing, like a will save, maybe, right, or whatever those are called in this system, right? So it's up to you if you want to do that. I'm quite into that idea.
It's fucking. I would probably ask Lyco about it first.
But would you need to roll the will save to bring it up?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Fuck it. I'm probably going to succeed this.
Let's see what we got. And +2 versus fear. Okay, right. So I think what that would translate as, sorry, would be you are very reluctant, and it's purely the fact that it would be like your responsibility for crew that might override that fear, right? Because you're about 5 short of passing a basic will test, but obviously this doesn't have a DC set. This is just me trying to gauge roughly like against the easiest difficulty now, which is a 25. So you're on a 20, but I could believe that somebody could push through a fair chunk of fear for like duty, responsibility, camaraderie. This is medkit we're talking about.
This is
Or precious.
Yeah.
Man. Beloved man.
So I could see you push through it for that, but I think it's one of those Zora will remember this kind of moments, you know? But I'll leave it up to you. It's completely your agency here. Like, you can decide to bring it up to Lyco or not, but...
I'll bring it up because it's probably one of the best solutions I can think of, and I can't really think of another way to do it, so I'm happy I can at least pull it off. Aye. I'll just be kind of like, I mean, could speak to Cindy. Cindy.
And yeah, I don't think that would have occurred to Lyko. And I was sort of like just nodding my head quickly. Yeah, of course you're still get the link. I think there's a decent chance if anyone could help us with whatever takes. It would probably be him. Are you? Are you sure?
Not
Zora's
really.
eyes say no, and Zora's voice says no.
Not really. But I mean, we find out what happened somehow.
If you're sure, Captain, then sort of gesture towards him. Sort of just what I'm trying to indicate with the gesture sort of is like you're in charge and it's you that's got the connection. So
Okay. So I guess I'll just play. Cindy, can I call you Cindy? No, sorry. You there?
And I think with the "Are you there?" we cut scene, and we go over to Zig, who is standing in front of an Elibrian, of all things. With his nice flowing purple robes, as he's staring down at you as the newly crystallized, frozen in the moment Thanaida is doing her best Han Solo pose. Yeah, that's obviously happened right by your side as you look up at Urgalas. And I think if I can remember from a month ago, I think his words are, "We need to speak." And if he didn't say that, he did now.
Okay.
I think that's what he said, though.
Can't exactly remember. I wrote it down, but I've moved everything, so I don't know where I've written it down.
And thus, it doesn't apply.
I think at that, Zig would just maybe kind of look at Zenaida and then look at the quite intimidating Urgalas and just
Yeah. There's a wind that you don't feel that's moving his clothes, and that's the intimidating bit about him. He's got that Magneto cape thing on the go, and you're like, wait a minute, there's no wind in here.
That's because he's like put like he's like magnetic paint on it, right?
Yeah, like iron filings all the way down it.
He's just constantly doing it for effect, man.
I mean, I would if I could. Yeah, Zig.
I think Zig would reluctantly take a step forward and just nod at him and like as if for him to go on.
And he looks at you, and then you find yourself like lifted off the ground by like a force around your neck. It's not choking you though, but it's definitely just taking over. Yeah, as if something's picking you up. And like he hasn't even like flinched or moved or anything. And he regards you as you like suspended in front of him, and you get pulled closer. And his voice is kind of slightly kind of hollow sounding voice eventually reaches you and says, "Now where did you put the egg?" And we're going to take a quick break there. So,
but also actually I really need
we're going to take a quick break, so it's going to be like a wee 5-10 minute number just right now, so we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes, folks. BRBs. Okay, so welcome back to Starfinder, the Fragments of Eternity, session 91. It is the 19th of April, 2021. I'm Ryan, the GM. Here are the players.
Hello, here are the players, indeed. And this player in particular is Colin, who will be playing Lyco Quinn, your sneaky, spooky, altogether space cop coast to coast.
Hello,
Hello,
I'm
Hello.
Nico. I'm playing Sora,
hear me roar.
the Vesk Admiral Captain. Cadmiral.
Patrol. Benadryl.
I was about to say, it sounded like medicine.
Nice wee 54 or 59. Yeah, it's good. Yep, it's good.
And speaking of medicine, that's a good segue to medkit.
Yeah.
Hey!
Good day, and evening, and morning.
Yeah.
Good time.
Good hello.
Good
Good times.
hello. I am indeed Zig, Medkit, Burning Sun, and mystical space rat extraordinaire. Ready to take on the world and finish the game right here, right now, by killing the Libyan.
Okay. Bold
I
strategy,
I
Colin.
like the confidence, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love it,
good.
man. In this game, here and now.
1-on-1 with the Librian!
I mean, yeah, the champion
Zig
has
turns
been
to him and
selected.
says,
Yeah. I'm at 60
You
now.
think you're scared?
91's a good
Former Virgin
session to
Employer.
end it, right, Ryan?
91,
go,
yeah,
lad.
that's a nice number. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
You may be able to defeat one Zig, but all the Zigs. They all
We are
pile up.
many.
Just a swarm of
But
Isoki.
tight.
And then suddenly, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
6 emerge.
Just
Hundreds
a
of
just a sea of
Turned
them.
into a really bad Matrix scene.
Yeah.
Like,
Is there any other kind?
Wow. I dropped away down to 36 there for that. Oh.
Wachowski?
that's almost killed him.
Yeah.
Wachowski?
35,
Wachowski?
34, 33,
It's every
32,
time I try and see
Everybody cared so much
Wachowski,
about
you die a little. Is that what's happening?
33. No, we're going back up.
it.
34.
Is that what it is?
I've
You hate the
adapted.
Matrix, right?
35.
It's you that much that it's killing you.
36. That's so weird. How is it like? What's it even gauging anymore?
They're not
39.
So, you may or may not be the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
Did they both transition now?
Yes, they.
Did I hear that?
Mhm.
So Wachowski sisters?
Yeah. I don't know. In fact, I'm not 100% on that because I don't know if they both identify as female. I don't know. I could Google
well,
this, but
if that's not
someone
correct,
can Google this.
then morally it's correct anyway, so that's fine.
No, it's whatever it is. Like, but they definitely both. Well, they stopped being the Wachowski brothers. Full stop. Yeah. But I'm sure they both transitioned. But I don't know if they identify as non-binary or female. I don't know that part.
I mean,
But it's not like
pretty
it
sure.
like it's really affects MD because their filmmaking skills. It's not like it changes that. Quite frankly. Back to 52. Right, that's okay. This is okay. Not dead now. All right. Apparently, dissing the Matrix nearly kills me. Apparently.
I like the Matrix.
Yeah.
I didn't like the sequel so much.
The Matrix
The
one's
first
good.
Alright.
The second two are nice music videos, especially the second one. It's a really nice collection of music videos.
That's kind of why I didn't like it.
yeah.
It's like, oh right, this is like a thing I'd watch on MTV too if I was really bored.
Yeah. I mean, it was what it was. You know, a product of maybe that was the initial start of like fans affecting, like fan opinions affecting content that heavily. Because I definitely feel like they were running off their own hype a lot of the time for the two. Because the first one's iconic, and then the second two. But anyway, this game. So we were with Zig.
Zig.
And Urgalas.
Zig and Orgalas.
Yes.
Okay, boy.
And
Urgalas.
he asked you a question. You're going to answer him?
Oh, sorry, I missed that. What was that?
I said he asked you a question before we went to break.
Oh, yes. What did you do with the egg? I
Yeah.
was like, no, he didn't. yes, he did. Zig, I guess, looks at him and just kind of looks him up and down and just kind of says, "Which egg?"
And I think,
Fair.
yeah, like 100% fair question, right? 100%.
Yeah. A lot's happened. There's eggs all over the place.
And the eyes narrow on Urgalas's face, his Illyrian eyes, and he says, "The one covered in your scent," almost with disgust.
I think Zig's ear does that thing, where it just sort of spasms a little bit.
Like it's
I
almost
don't
like it's
think he
resetting
appreciates-
position. Yeah.
I don't think he appreciates the wording of scent. Kind of making him feel more rodenty than he wants to,
Yeah.
Yusoki's got a hard time.
I'm up at 75, 77, 78.
You do. You do.
Tense, man. Tense.
Oh.
I think
Come on now.
he just says, I'm afraid you're gonna have to ask somebody else.
There's a still moment that passes. Okay. And remember, you're being like suspended by the throat at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe it settles. Maybe it like fully sinks in this moment that passes. And the Illyrian says, "I am asking you what you have done with the egg." And then you're placed down on your feet. And the Illyrian just looks down at you.
Well, do you know what? Honestly, I think Zig could just because in Zig's mind he's talking about the solar egg,
Right.
because that's the one he spent the most physical time with, which would imply scent thing.
Okay.
And right, this is Callum speaking now.
That's fine, yeah.
Speaking as a Callum, yeah.
Speaking is something that I'm doing. So I guess like everything Zig has personally done with the egg has nothing to do with where the egg is now, really. Really.
What you're gonna say is you haven't done anything, right?
I'm up
I
at
haven't done anything
94
with it.
partly.
So I think Zig will start with, well, I did admittedly carry it around for quite some time, but it's been taken away from me.
By who?
That is an excellent. Now, Mr. Urgulas, you're asking the right question.
Dear
I love
God.
it.
Is what Zig says in his head, because he's like, what Zig thinks he would have said when he looks back on this moment if he survives. And I think he just says, at this point, I honestly don't know.
No. Are you trying to mislead him? Because didn't Weird tell you that he'd sorted out the egg problem?
He just said he'd sorted it. I don't think he went into specifics, so he doesn't actually know where or who or what.
I mean, you do kind of know who, sadly,
Well, yeah.
by that logic. You definitely don't know the how, but you know the who, at least. Not the specific band.
I mean, if
necessarily.
you want me to maybe not, but if you want me to bluff.
I'm asking, are you deliberately lying, or are you just forgetting what Zig actually knows? That's my question, because there are two different intentions here, right?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So you are actively trying to mislead him.
Yeah.
This is going to go
But
well, and
it's
I look forward to it.
I look
It's not
forward
gonna
to
go
his
well
new
at all.
character, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gone well. I like what I see. I see no problems here, and in fact, negative problems.
Okay. Okay, that's
Problems.
a 4.
Hi there, I'm
If you
Callum,
look-
and
you look
I'll be
to have
playing
less
Zog,
problems
the
The mystical replacement from the future. That's 107 we hit, guys. 107.
Oh lord.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
What's? I didn't press F11. Fuck off.
Dear.
Sorry. Talking to my key.
That's fine. You talk away. Oh. I think you just feel that pressure around your neck again. It's like, and you're definitely, yeah. I think there's a very heavy sense of pressure around you, and it's very difficult to like move. It's almost everything but being in a hold person spell idea, right? Just like thick air around you, emanating clearly from Urgalas. And the voice you hear again wash over you to sing. Why do you intend to mislead me?
I think Zig just kind of looks, just says, well, I get kind of stressed, but I'm not super misleading you. I don't know where the egg is. I don't know how it's gone. I just know it's.
But you know something you are not telling me. Yeah, I mean, I can't do much with a 4, I'm sorry. Like, there's...
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think he just says, I maybe know people who know more than I probably do, but here we are. Sweating a lot.
Nargalas says, do you know what they unlock? I'm way up at 100, by the way. Oof. Nargalas. Oof.
A gun?
I think Zig probably doesn't actually say anything. He probably just does like a slight shake of the head and just.
Which reminds you how difficult it is to move your body. Yep.
Yeah.
Almost like you're stuck in slow-mo. You're in a L'Oreal advert now. It's so key because you're worth it. Yeah, and so there's no answer. There's just shaking your head. It's like a kind of negative.
And like a kind of like a negative sounding.
And then Morgalas says, if you know nothing, then you are of no use to me. And leaves that hanging for like a second or two. Now, this is where we take that wee player agency moment, right? We take a wee step back, and then you may or may not wish to outsource to your fellow teammates your next step. You may not. You may not, but this is entirely up to you. So,
I definitely do.
So
I don't have
phone a friend.
phone a friend. 50-50?
So, let's talk
Right.
responses to that. So,
So,
mind thrust
I'm
is
not
my
sure.
suggestion.
I was thinking, oh, mind thrust, that works.
Mind blank.
Mind
Oh my
thrust.
god, yes!
That
Do
can't
it.
possibly go wrong. I
Do
keep
it
touching
just
him
for
is
the
the problem.
look,
I don't
for the
think I'm
memes,
anywhere
man.
near him.
here is one thing I believe in with absolute conviction: the law of bands, and it dictates that you must do the mind link.
The problem is, though, he's
Um,
trying not to tell Urgalas everything.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if Urglass shoots himself or something. Right, maybe Urglass will realise we were right about everything. Or I don't know.
Imagine out of all of this, the only thing that happens is Zig actually gets arrested for causality of that guy's murder. Of that, like, Bianca Fane lady.
it was,
That was it. That was literally
That
it.
might not even have happened anymore. We don't know.
Oh, she's still dead. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh no.
Rip.
Yeah.
F's in the chat. There's no
Yeah.
one in the chat. Anyone who's watching this at a later date,
Yeah.
please press
Just
F.
comment
Um,
F in the comments for Bianca Fane. There we go. We'll put him in. There we go.
So I'll give it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
A wee F for
Um,
Bianca Fane. Yeah. Extreme sports personality.
Okay,
that she
a
was.
more serious answer is I don't know what Zig should say, but I kind of think I know how Lyko would handle it,
Right. Okay. Talk us through it.
which is to try and play him.
Mm.
Like, you know, you try and ask him questions about what his interest in is it. You know, because A, he's the villain, and therefore is going to start spelling his evil plan.
The monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
there's anything I know about bad guys,
He's
it's
an
that they love-
almighty fucking god being as well, right? So he's like going to be arrogant enough to tell you because he's a god being.
Now, keep in mind, though, right, Zig, things we know. All of the Eoxians abandoned Eox because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And that should scare everybody.
Yeah. But on the other hand,
It's not a bone sage, man. Okay.
No,
I'm just,
I mean,
we killed the
I
bone
was going to
sage.
say, yeah, remember there was like 150 of them and then there's 8?
Still not a bone sage, man. It's fine.
Mhm.
I will. Yeah, okay. So use the sort of things that you know to try and talk to him, see what you know. I agree. Engage with him. There's, I think, doesn't seem maniacal or what have you, right? He seems somewhat reasonable. Like maybe his goals are a bit vague and ominous,
I didn't
but
turn
he
up and just
seems like
kill
someone
you.
you can
Yeah.
have a conversation with, right? Like it feels like you could say to him, "Oh wow, are you guys speaking?"
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
Oh
bud.
no, I hear you.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I just saw
I just listened for
I
you.
saw green and I couldn't
Yeah,
hear.
very keen for what you're about to say.
Mhm.
Engage with him and try and figure out what exactly he expects from you, what he thinks you know, and why he thinks you know it, and why he's into. Like, obviously, he knows there's a connection. How does he know it's your scent? What does that mean, scent? Does he mean literally scent, or does he mean like a magic
Mm.
trace that you've left behind? Why does he care?
Because remember, you have memories of him taking the egg from Lantoral.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that, Zig, right?
I do.
That is one you have also. So talk to him about that.
Now, did Zig see that? Because remember, you went forward, so you got Zig
Oh
back.
no, you're right. He was there, but you wouldn't have seen it.
I was going to say, because didn't you get Zig on the way out?
Hmm.
The
Yes.
fight. So yeah, I don't know if Zig
But
did.
you know what happened, right? Because you were there.
No, you did get Zig on the way in. Sorry, you did. You got him on the way in.
Did we?
Yeah, because
Listen, you could have told me anything, I'd believe.
I know.
like,
I feel like you got him on the way in. Zig, do you remember the throne ship?
I
And you were like, had to
vaguely
roll.
remember being there. I'm pretty.
I
But,
think you fought the droid on the way in, not on the way out.
yes.
So if that's the case, you got Zig on the way in. Because it was during the fight with the drow in
Yeah,
the
because
corridor.
it ended with Lanteral being absolutely just disintegrated, and then he was like, whoop, 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 whoop. Mine, whoop, 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 whoop,
Mhm.
whoop.
Because remember, he pinned everybody but Lyko, I think. Somebody managed to do like their wills, like save against him just freezing the room.
It might have been me
I
because I do have a bonus.
It was
Mind affecting.
a death effect, mind affecting effect, yeah. But yeah, it was. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was. I think it was like it like just didn't move. Being like, I am not gonna attract his attention as he just floats over everybody, ominously melting people into goop. Yeah. So yeah, you would have witnessed him like turn up, melt Lanteral into her paladin buddy, and then just take the egg back. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously since then, you've seen Galarian, and you went back in time, and then you saw Isabel turn up and take the egg away from the past.
Yes.
You could engage with him about some of this shit.
And then obviously
Right.
Weird has told you that he has sorted out the egg and that you don't have to worry about it, even though you know Isabel did it. So we don't know really what Weird did. Obviously in the meta we know Weird pushed the egg forward from everybody. So it was always out of sync.
Yes.
But that was from when Weird was. And obviously Isabel's Clula went to before that happened to take the egg. So yeah.
It's all very confusing. It's great.
That makes perfect sense.
Um,
It's all in this handy chart. It's just a ball of twine, Ryan. Shut up. So, yeah. Got me? Good.
gotcha.
Okay. So,
Wow,
what
so
is your reply to
does,
what use are you to him?
I think Zig says, there's been maybe I'm getting confused, but there's been a lot of mixing of timelines, and like if maybe you just give me like a wee second, I can try and explain through it, and maybe you'll make sense of it, and then maybe you'll get what you want. I don't know.
He blinks and looks at you. And then says, and what exactly do you think I want? Beyond the location of the egg.
Obviously, you want it, otherwise you wouldn't want to know where it was. You had it.
He tilts his head when you say that.
Do you? This is very Zig's very curious about his.
Yeah, right?
It's like, do you remember having the eggs?
It is fascinating to me that you remember me having the egg.
Interesting.
What
So,
do you know of this?
and then Zig will just start talking in the ziggiest way because he's very nervous um, for obvious reasons. And he'd be like, well, we were sent on a job to kind of collect the Lanteral, the drow queen at the time.
And indeed
You know,
again.
things were going pretty and then maybe he like has a wee flashback in his mind of it and he'll just hesitantly say, well. And yeah, and then out of nowhere, you know, you kind of, I assume it was you anyway, you froze the room up, turned Lanteral into goop, walked over and took the egg and disappeared in some sort of horrifying, portally horribleness thing. And well, yeah. So that happened. then lots of other things happened, and then I went back in time, which maybe possibly stopped that from happening, but I don't not 100% sure what's working and what's not working as of yet. There's been a few trips around, and well, so then I had the egg for a while, and then I was traveling around with it. I was keeping it fairly close because I was nervous because I saw you turn the then Dry Queen, who is now the Dry Queen, but not this Dry Queen, and kind of maybe tries to motion to Thanaida.
Mhm.
And then there's the into Goop, and I turn into Goop. See, if I think Zig tries to cock his head just to kind of read him, see if he's like engaging with anything that he's
You can do a sense move if you
saying.
want.
Yeah, so
sense motif.
sense motif. Uh, 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 sense S motif.
Oh
It's a
no.
really good roll.
I think what we get from that is exactly
No.
what you expect. You have no idea if that
Yeah.
was understood. It's going well. It's going badly. And it's fine because it's quite hard to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I roll culture for me.
Rubble.
Yeah.
The
And this
fight
is-
got scary.
This is just as you're looking him over. You maybe your eyes are trying to go anywhere else but his eyes.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're taking in like any kind of like symbology on his outfit or anything like that, but nothing's standing out. Obviously, it's just you're just basically trying to like go. I'ma look you over and not actually at your face.
Yeah.
When you realise you can't read him within 11, you go, okay, I'm gonna look out everywhere else. And again, silence creeps in enough to be super uncomfortable and tense.
Mhm.
And then Urgalas says, "And how have you achieved this knowledge?"
Well, that's a really good question. It's hard to pinpoint exactly how these things happen, but it all gets very confusing. I share my thoughts with people, and then stuff happens, and it gets really messy, and then weird things happen. I get flung through time and space, and then I meet with some time god and like see Galarian, and they're rebuilding it, and it's very confusing. I had issues with that at that point.
Rebuilding Galarian.
Yes, it's where Absalom used to be, but
There's a look that goes across his face again, right? Like patience lost, and it pushes through your mini ramble and says, "And what happened to Galarian?"
um, could I show you?
And how would you do this?
I can put the information from my head into your head.
There's again like a good 15 seconds of silence as this thing just stares at you. And then it says, "Nothing has happened."
I need to actually physically touch you. It's a bit if I
Crude.
could do it at range, that'd be
Intimate?
No, his word is crude. He describes it
Yeah.
as.
yeah. Yeah, if I could do it at range, that'd be great, but I can't. Right.
Perhaps instead of wallowing in what you don't know, you should practice what you do know. And then it puts its hand out.
I've been told I shouldn't really do this much. Bad things tend to happen, but hey, I think I'm surrounded by bad things probably about to happen anyway. So, and then I guess he tries to put his hand out.
Yeah.
Fully expecting the air to be thick as it was.
And I think you move maybe a bit quicker than expected initially. Love the idea of you just accidentally slapping his hand because you move faster. Aha! Roll initiative. No. Yeah. So you extend a hand in mind link. Is that the plan here?
Yes.
Fucking hell. This is where we've got to, guys.
I am so happy you're doing this. It's like, you know.
Well, like initially, like obviously, I didn't have a reason to. I wasn't like just going to go. Here's everything I know about the egg. But
well, my original session title suggestion is no longer valid now, which was analog mind link because you were just downloading word vomit at him.
Oh wait, what about what analog to digital convert?
Yeah. But yeah, so mind link back in the scene. Yeah.
Yes.
What are you sending
him? Well, I guess he's going to send him Galarian kind of more as a like, yeah, see, I'm not talking utter nonsense. Trust me.
When are you starting the Galarian?
See, I'm going to have to try and remember the order of things.
So,
I guess.
use parted ways and then use travel in your merry way on a ship to go to the sun, and then there was phasing through walls, and then there was a Galarian, and then you had your farmer guy going to sell fruit, and then you Superman, and then you met possibly somebody's like great ancestor of some kind related to Tenaida and Lantarel, maybe.
Yeah.
And then the world kind of blew up.
I guess from
Oh, fuck knows when that
maybe
actually
from
happened.
the words, what it was, I think Weird said mind link with me or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be like the audio of that, and then like there on to then the point of speaking to second, first.
Yeah, sure.
Third, one of them. Some have tried anyway.
Oh dear. The fact that there is actually a session titled Fragments of Maternity upsets me sometimes. With Alice and her stupid joke about the pillow. Okay.
Yeah, so to like the argument over how rebuilding Galarian's really stupid.
Okay. Right. Man, that was so fucking long ago. Okay. So I think all that plays out. And yeah, there's definitely a sense of like you and Orgalas standing side by side, like witnessing all this happen, as if, wandering through the memories. As you're sharing things. And I think roll whatever the perception skill is in this system.
Is it perception? It is.
He isn't necessarily paying attention to everything you're showing him. He seems to be looking at other things that you can't see.
Okay.
Right? But you can tell he is looking elsewhere. At a lot of things. Like, he is taking in, obviously, details from what you're showing, but for the most part, where maybe things you'd have thought was important, he's clearly not paying attention.
Yeah. So maybe kind of like if I was like taking a photo of the scene, he's looking at like what's outside of the photo.
Yeah, like
the extended photo. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's definitely like the brain's thinking, but not about what you're showing, necessarily. Yeah, and I think as you obviously, it only takes like a moment to do all this. You're back in the vault, And Urgalas says, quite the adventurous journey. I guess that's the best way to put it, right? The adventurous journey you have been on.
I think adventure is basically
I
the
mean,
same.
I suppose quite the adventurous little spirit you are is maybe a better way you'd put it. It's a bit more spooky, right? How did you find yourself dislodged in time?
Well, after after having my conversation with a certain number,
Yep.
they asked me where I wanted to be dropped off, and
I think you spoke to second. I think that's who you
it's the
spoke
second.
to.
I feel that sounds right.
Mhm.
So yeah, well, it's second now. Yeah. So I after having
Whoever's
my
got their Steam notifications on as well, mute them, please.
discussion of with second, they asked where I wanted to be dropped off, and I thought, seeing as they seem to be out with time, I could go back and save a dear friend and mentor of mine.
Why?
I felt lost, and before they were always there when not at where I should be, and you know.
So you rely
And
on
I think Zig
others
just
to
getting
stay
very.
true.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think
What
what
was
it
that?
says. So you rely on others to stay true.
I find it helps.
Then you are weak.
No.
And it definitely sounds more like a question, right? Like almost like Urglas is saying, "Are you?" Right? Like that's the tone. It's not like a derogatory statement.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that it would still just be like, no.
Then why seek out others for stability?
Why wouldn't you? If they're there,
It gives you a look when you
and
say that. Just a really weird look. And then
Yeah.
continue.
if they're there and things are always better shared. Being alone is, well, lonely.
It just stares blankly.
Have you never people you could rely on?
There's another strange look that crosses Urgalas's face. And then he holds up his hand. You wish to learn.
I do.
Yep, so his hand is making the motion of, well, this is what we did when we touched last time.
I guess Zig just, I guess, goes out and touches it.
And yeah, there's some wonderful flashes of memory coming your way. Exciting
Ooh,
times.
grand.
Yeah. So you find yourself in a sprawling metropolis, right? Like the vault just suddenly like gets torn away from you. There's like a gust of air that kind of like blows behind you. There is the sounds of like a city in full swing. The hum of technology around you. The sun light splitting through the clouds in the sky, and as I said, spires of metal in the sky as well, like your skyscrapers and various other structures. And it's definitely a fairly high tech world. And like you find that the only thing that stayed the same was the fact that you've got yourself, like basically like touching like fingertips with a Urgalas as all this kind of like zooms in around you, and then he says, "This was my home."
I think he's kind of looking around.
The emphasis on that sentence is "was."
Yeah. This Theox.
There is like a sneer, almost, in his face, like a disgust curling up. He says, "Not yet."
I think
There's definitely like
I don't want to say Zig understands, but
there's definitely
He
like a
doesn't
waves
I
of
think he
tension.
just
Yeah.
yeah. I think he's like in his mind pieced together like, okay, obviously pre-Eox is this guy's
Yeah, it was probably called
love
Alibria,
life
right?
and stuff. Yeah. And yeah, not too happy about what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then,
He probably wouldn't be for him.
right? And then,
Yeah.
as that kind of like sinks in to Zig, he says, "I was exiled." And then there's like flashes of like the Grand Council of Alibria, or whatever the name of the place would have been beforehand, but we're going to call it Alibria for now for the memories. And you know, pre-Eox anyway, and you can see Urgalas being exiled. There's like a heavy sense of like unjust, like the kind of swamp shoe emotionally, and is just crystallized by like some kind of weird, bizarre, kind of pseudo-technical, pseudo-magical, mystical ritual. Not a million miles away from what people describe to you as how they found him.
Yeah.
And or what Tanada looks like now.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least would be if you were still with her. And then, yeah, there is just him like launched into the dark of space. Just volleyed,
In the
like
chat.
literally volleyed away. That is what they did to Urgalas. He was exiled and just left to drift the cold void.
In the chat.
And then like obviously it kind of like flickers out into the black of space, as you both stand there, with just the kind of like the purple kind of crystal cocoon drifting, and Urgalath kind of turns to you, says, "Do you understand?"
Big nods and why did they cast you?
I think Urgalath looks at you and says, "Does that matter?"
I think I mean it kind of does. If it's for
Let us see
I
how
mean-
events play out in my absence, shall we? And then, like it drifts all the way back to Ilibria, and you see, you can clearly see this has been parsed mentally. As somebody that has fucked up memory jumping and going through people's minds a lot, you can tell this is not his memories now. This is stuff he has found since, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because there's definitely a disconnect. This is like somebody showing you, like, someone else's home movies, basically. And yeah, it's obviously Illibrian armies and like essentially fleets invading other planets. Like there's a massive war that seems to be taking place on Triaxis. Long ago though, like we're talking long before the gap. Like you're getting the impression this was thousands of years ago. and none of it's good. It is very much Illibrian supremacy vibes you're getting here.
Yeah.
Like, we are better by far, so we will go and uplift other people in our traditions. Basically, just we're gonna turn up and tell you how to live. Yeah, not a million miles away from what the Vest currently do, to be honest. Yeah, not a million miles away. So, yeah, you get vibes like that, and that's not overly ideal, quite frankly. And you then see this ridiculous weapon. Like, the scale is absolutely mad. That's the exact terminology. Absolutely
Where
mad.
this is going.
And yeah, you see it being constructed. You see almost like the way the votes fell from, like, you know, the governing body of soon to be Eox, and like planets that didn't fall in line, essentially, people that resisted. Yeah, you can see that as it plays out, and it's then clearly being approved and constructed, right? There's definitely a massive combination between, you know, like definitely a hybrid technology, so mass amounts of bizarre arcane rituals fusing materials together and infusing them to act in unique ways that went into the construction of this just mega cannon, essentially. And yeah, they fire it at a planet that rebelled. And that planet gets wiped out. It becomes the diaspora. And everything kind of cuts again. And then Urgalas turns to you and says, "Do you see?" Your fingers obviously all still clasped, like the three of your fingers obviously that touch each other for this. You stand side by side.
Just is. And if you were not cast out, this would have been prevented.
No, it should have been done better.
It's been done twice as fast. I'd have fired the gun twice. Yeah, there's
We're talking about the time scale of this was
I wouldn't even be a
abominable.
What was that, Nico?
It wouldn't even be a diaspora.
Yeah. I'd have made sure the thing was vaporized. No debris. Yeah, so I think Urgalas then says, "Their hubris cost them my home." And there's just like a mixture between like sorrow and rage. Oh, we'll wait for Callum to come back.
He's fallen over and he can't get up.
Yep, both Callum and the Illibrian, tripped on his robes, have fallen over. Okay, I'll update my pulse, that's what I'll do in the meantime. There we go, where's my BPM? Scanning. 68, that's alright. Can I drop it?
Geese in the chat, everyone. Geese in the chat. That's just what.
Or apparently I can maintain 68, there we go. That's all I get.
Welcome back, Cal.
Welcome back, yes. So, as I said, a mixture between like sorrow and rage that hits him.
Okay.
They're my favorite emotions.
I think I don't want to say Zig feels sorry for him.
Okay. I mean, it's not a bit like he did lose his home and like probably everything he ever knew.
But he does, and I think he kind of gets that, like this would obviously, you know, like imagine the sun colony exploded. I'm pretty sure Zig would be pretty pissed. But I think he's also like in his mind, you know, well, how are you actually like dealing with this? Is this a healthy way of dealing with your problems? No, probably not.
Says Zig.
Um,
This is your redemption arc, Zig.
I think Zig just says it's terrible, but
As soon as you
would
say
you-
that, the entire landscape shifts to Eox. As in the desolate, like hazardous to life conditions.
Mhm.
And then as you start to like, it's almost like you're trying to like if we're in his mind for a moment, which we currently are, it's almost like you're sounding like you're trying to justify things. So like his immediate thing is to show you this. And he kind of turns to you and says, "This is your memory." And you can clearly see this is like when you were on Eox.
Mhm.
So it's like the exact horrible conditions. You know he's not like lying about it.
Lucky. Um,
Hello.
Goodbye.
apologies. That was my dad informing me that he is going to bed.
Huh?
Sorry, you have to say that again.
Yeah, so like you're presented with Eox, and you're after a couple of seconds it sinks in. After he states obviously this is your memory, you look around and realize it is, and it's almost like you realize that he's saying this is the actual conditions my home is now. Like he's not trying to like deceive you or make you feel anything for him. He's just saying, look what it has become, and you know what it's become. It is hazardous to living.
It's a terrible place.
Yeah.
That it truly is terrible. Had you been there, would you have prevented this?
There's like again discomfort now is what you're sensing.
Mm-hmm.
And he lets go of your hand. And obviously the memory slowly kind of like dissipates away. And then you're back in the vault as it slowly kind of like almost like you've stood up too quickly comes into like realization as Eox peels away. And he almost like takes one last look at it as it fades. And says, I was denied the chance.
I think Zig kind of lets that sit in his mind for a minute.
Mm.
Maybe not a whole minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I mean,
who knows? Who knows how long it's going to take for Nicholas to snap? But long enough for him to like kind of mull that over in his mind. And
I think like you can tell that Urglas showed you that so you could mull it over in your mind, right? There was no need to share any of that.
For sure. And I think
Sorry, mindless lizards. Yeah, sure. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's great.
You might be immediately crystallized in this scene, but that's fine.
You can take control of Zig for like a minute.
That should be just be the character for a minute. Yeah, only Zig though. In all the games I run, just Zig for 1 minute.
Yeah,
you get access to the burning sun.
Oh dear lord.
Yeah. Also welcome. But carry on, please, Kel.
Yeah, I think like would say which brings me back to why were you denied? Why were you sent away?
And I think Urgalas gives you like again another strange look and says, my exile does not change my inability to take action against that which led to the destruction of my home.
true, but can you truly say that you wouldn't have been drawn in and just been part of the cause?
There is a look of anger when you say that.
That's fair. That's
Mhm.
really fair.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah, and there's definitely like a sense of like pressure again, but not like crushing you, just in general, as if he is containing a lot of whatever the fuck is going on with him, right?
yeah.
And then there's like
It's
a
very
moment
more
of like
like,
calming, right? There's a moment where you can clearly see
Mhm.
it's like he would exhale if that was the thing he cared about, like expressing like a human. But he then says, "This is merely a delay, alas. Your usefulness seems no more than a curiosity."
I think Zig say, like, I may not know where what you want is, but I can guarantee you won't be able to get it if I'm not there.
There's a look as if looking straight through you, right? And he says, "You are unable to rescue your past. I won't allow you to stop me salvaging mine."
I didn't necessarily fail. I could have succeeded my test, but I chose not to.
This you chose to fail. There's definitely a sting he's trying to like convey to that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like basically, you're the
Um,
one that chose to give up, right? It's definitely the vibe he's throwing your way.
yeah.
Um,
So I think Zig would say something along the lines of, um, can't infuse uh, my choice with failure.
I think his reply is, "It seems you can." And thank you very much for the follow.
Welcome.
He doesn't say that to you
Oh, okay.
No, he does actually.
though.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Zig, awkwardly nods and
I'll
says,
update my BPM for you. Don't worry, I'll update my BPM. Here we go. Where is it? What's it gonna be? It's gonna be. Come on, what we get? Place bets now.
"Oh, I'm
68.
nervous."
Is it gonna be a 68? Gonna be a 72? Who knows?
107.
34. No. Is it giving us anything?
1.
Oh, it's having a think.
Does
76.
not compute.
76, folks. That's what we got.
I was
Like a
close
fun
to the
gambling
7
game
in it.
now. As it plummets way back down. Anyway, sorry, back in the scene. So, he hits you with that, basically saying, you giving up doesn't mean to say I should, essentially.
Um, and what do you hope to achieve? What are you actually going to achieve? Are you going to just replace Eox with your um your old home like they're doing with Galerian?
There is like a moment, almost like a leaning in conversationally, that stops abruptly. And Urgalas says, "You claim to be the key to my salvation, yet you wish to learn of my plans. If you wish to assist in the restoration, declare that now. There's a sense of tension again, right? Like just
Yeah,
in the air, more not physically on you, but just in general. There's now like basically it's like, are you actually going to try and stop me? Is a kind of like you could read that as the question if you wanted, but really he's basically saying declare if you think you're going to stop me. Basically, this is running off the back of you saying you'll need you to find the egg.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
yeah,
Feel free to take a
it's
player
just
agency
tough.
moment if you want to just have a wee chat with everybody.
I think I definitely will.
Yeah. Let's have
Come
a wee
on,
chat
Tiggy.
as a group. Right, let's bring everybody back. So,
Oh, I'm afraid.
Callum's starting to sweat now. I know Zig was sweating.
I'll
but
update
man,
the. Yeah, let's get the wee BPM count up. There we go. Let's see what we're
I
at
need to get
now.
myself a BPM.
This is it. Instead of webcams, we'll just have BPM monitors for everybody, right? This is the new way to play RP. Oh, did we spike at 83 there? Oof. This is wild because I'm honestly incredibly calm. Bizarre. 60. 60's okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to just go like, yeah, no worries, mate. I'll help you out, because that's just
Zora?
a big lie.
Great.
Okay.
I don't particularly want to lie to him either, because we know how well that goes.
Yeah, the 4 isn't great. Here, right, so let's take a moment before like Nico and Colin decide to weigh in on what they think maybe you should and should not, very specifically don't do. What's Callum's thoughts on what he's just learned?
Like, I get that he. That's something. Yes, a better plan is to kill him. Unfortunately, that might not go too well.
See the amount of
Shite.
plans though, Sim, that have started with, well, just kill him. It's fine. Like,
Channel him to a fist fight, man. Can't you just put us in a fist fight? Like,
Zig isn't the strongest of physical beings.
it doesn't
is
matter,
this
man.
you
He's an
trying to pull it-
ethereal fucking muppet, man. He's skinny as well. Like,
An ethereal
like-
muppet. That is an amazing term.
Yeah, I mean, I can obviously I understand that he perfectly understands where he's coming from. And I feel like Zig is almost sympathetic to that, but at the same time, ethereal fucking muppet, right? Yeah, at the same time, like, obviously his means don't justify his ends.
Like, yeah, like he definitely seems to be doing some interesting things, but like you don't technically really know what his means are.
That's true, actually.
Right? So I don't know if Zig can state that with
That's
any
true,
level of like. So,
oh man, I don't know.
right?
I just CC gun myself.
This is when you find out this is what the gun was for the whole time.
This was what the gun was for. It was an anti Elibrian.
So, based on what Callum has shared about Callum's thinking, Colin, Nico, any thoughts? Also, we've got Sim's vote here is very, very specifically just shank him. Fantastic.
I mean, a good shanking is always in order.
I mean, who can say no to a good shanking if you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I'm really hoping this is the mature channel filter I selected.
So, Obviously there is distinct pressure not to say anything that will anger him too much. Or to make yourself feel like you're going to be an obstacle to his goals.
Because he kind of already has stated he is an obstacle, or a key factor in his goal, by stating you'll never find the egg without my help.
Yeah, maybe put yourself in the corner here.
Yeah, maybe quickly time travel back and undo that. Yep.
Yep, that's fine. Easy done.
Yep. If there's not much to say, I guess we're back in the scene, right? Unless somebody's got any.
I really don't got a clue, man. I'd really not got a clue what you shouldn't.
Okie dokie.
I know it's a
Sorry.
lot of help.
How many triumph
a lot of
points do
help.
I have? Not enough.
What was it to just get a Benjamin? Was it? What were you hoping for?
I feel like Wish would have been good.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's no place like home, you know.
Yeah. Fair. Mhm.
I spent 2,000 to give you inspiration. It doesn't work in this game though, so it's just like mental inspiration.
In theory, though, right? You could just roll twice, right? Like I don't see why you couldn't, right? I don't see why you couldn't roll twice and take the better result in this game.
I don't think I can physically get a bluff roll high enough to actually be
Convincing.
believable in anything.
Don't worry, Weird's right there with you as well. I think he can pass a bluff check.
I could, but I decided not to because it's not the best way. So I never took any
That's
bluff
fair.
whatsoever.
I think
Just ask him what he wants with the egg, to be honest.
Do you know
There
what?
go.
Oh well, what do you want? What left?
This is back in the scene, yeah. This is back in the scene. Okay.
And that was it. That was it. I'm just gonna steal that idea because it's an idea.
Yeah,
and,
it's not bad. Yeah.
It might stall my impending doom.
But he did say declare now. Right.
Oh yes, right. Okay.
So that's the thing we paused on, remember? Which was pretty much declare your intentions. Are you allied with him or against him?
Only a Librian deals in absolutes.
That's an absolute. You must be an Librian. Thank you for allying yourself for the cause.
I don't know I'm necessarily against you.
Great. I'm sorry.
You just broke Colin, that's fine. Lyco's a way to just get the recruitment drive on the go on the old space internet. We need a new medkit. Please apply within or out with, either or.
But yeah, because I don't think he is necessarily against him overall.
I mean, he's given nothing he's said or showed you has been bad, other than just what has happened in his absence.
Yep. I think what Zig will say is, I'm not necessarily against you. However, the actions that you are taking, and do you know what? Probably to every degree, the actions we all are taking are leading us to this universe ceasing to exist. So, I personally would like to avoid that.
What evidence do you have for that assessment?
So, we met with. You're gonna think I'm crazy, jeez. And Zig's kind of like, maybe his ear does that sort of spasmy thing again, and he's like, so, I'm trying to remember my facts here. So,
I'm just laughing at the fact that you say you're going to think I'm crazy here, and it's like, well, okay, so there's a talking mystical superpowered rat god talking to, thousands of year old Illybrian whose entire people blew up their own fucking planet because they're idiots and they
That
built
is
a giant
sound
gun.
too wacko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, we met with our a member of our crew, but from the other universe that has shown us that his universe has ended due to the inverted commas end game of this whole situation we are currently heading towards. And quite frankly, yeah, end of universes just don't sound great to me.
I think Urgles says, so you have not only become unstuck in time, but also in this reality.
I mean, kind of, maybe, but and then I think he'll try to explain, like, you know, the weird sort of
I know, weird. Yeah.
the non-drift, the place we ended up when we tried to go to the sun.
Yeah, the weird kaleidoscope place.
Yeah. I think he'll try to explain that.
Okay, how? I want to hear this description.
I think what I'll say is when I lost the egg, I was trying to transport it to the sun. However, we ended up
This is the first time you stole it from me.
technically, I didn't steal it from you because you didn't have it when I took it. You had it after I took it.
He waves his hand dismissively to the side and says a temporarily dismissive excuse.
Fair. But yes, we ended up in what I can only describe as a weird non-space, which is from where I ended up being transported to Galarian, in, I guess, the past, or in non-space where it's being used as a reference for reconstructing it. I'm kind of unsure on that one. It is a bit confusing, but it does give some form of indication that the travel between our dimensions is actually possible, if somewhat seemingly random and difficult.
Tilts his head like he's parsing that together. And says, show me. And puts his hand back out like he's the three fingers kind of like pronged open.
Can you do that again?
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
I mean, he seems to think so.
Well, I guess I'll try.
Yeah, so you
I mean,
make contact
mechanically I
again?
can't, but I'll do it anyway. I'll give it a bash. And I'll just put hands out. And,
Yeah,
you know.
and you feel him pulling the information. There is no you giving. It is him doing this. Yeah. He's just being polite about it, obviously.
More than Zig's ever done, to be fair. Actually,
Yeah.
he's decent than Zig, to be honest. Should we just swap them round?
Yeah, what do you just want to play Urglass the rest of it? And Zig is, you know,
Urglass can be in the party. Zig's the bad guy. Okay.
Yeah, I think we knew this anyway, right? Like
Yeah.
this is where it was going. We knew Zig was the bad guy. So you show him the weird kaleidoscope land, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're kind of on the bridge of the azure flare again, looking out into the colours. Obviously, this is just before you started showing him, obviously, the last vision.
Yeah.
Because obviously you would have then mind linked with Weird to end up in Galarian.
Yeah,
And,
so kind of maybe roughly up until that point. And I don't know, maybe if he can try to get Query explaining the end of universes thing. I don't remember how much of that Zig was like
Yeah,
sitting there listening.
I
at the
feel like
time.
you definitely listened to some of it, but I remember you got up and left specifically. But I think that was
Mhm.
near the end, because I don't think there was much between Nyx 5 before it became Weird and Query. There was very
I
little.
think Zig left after Query said something like, "Oh, no, you might not be able to do it, whatever." And Zig's like, "Well, no, Nyx, it can is better than you."
Yeah, like you
he
failed,
did-
basically,
he
yeah.
did say
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
It was basically, well, he's not you, because you gave up or some shit like that, yeah. Like, yeah, weirdly, it's almost like the conversation you and Urglass were having.
I know.
Right, it's really weird that, yeah. It's like poetry.
Beautiful. I am Urglass.
Yeah, anyway, so you show him all that, and he walks forward, obviously, with you, like in the kind of clasped hands, or at least connected fingertips, and you walk like through the front of the bridge of the Azure Flare, just out into space, or out into the external of the ship in this weird kaleidoscope land, and Urglass turns to you and then like breaks the connection, and everything fades back to the vault location you're in. And he says, "You speak of being between worlds, but you are between times. If time and space could be seen as a river," emotions vaguely just around him. As he does, there's like a kind of kaleidoscope trail from his hand.
Mhm.
And he leaves it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, and kind of looks at you. As if so
That
perfectly.
explained everything.
Yeah, right? Like that's pretty much
Yeah,
the
that
look he's
makes
given
perfect
though. Yeah.
sense. So if time and space is a
Can-
river.
If time and space could be seen as a river, and he
Oh, just
gestures
keeping.
gestures vaguely. To like as if
That's
back to
fine.
where you were in the weird kaleidoscope world.
Mhm.
That's it. That's what he says.
um,
You can, I mean, you
the
could
river.
you could follow up if you wanted, but that's what he says. He is mightily vague.
That's fair. I think
You can tell where Sindale maybe got it from, right? Like,
The cultural trait.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, from my NPCs, yeah.
I think at that point they could just be like, so how do the eggs help you?
There's an interesting, I don't know, like a strange quirk to his body language, right? And he says, "It is impressive your persistence on such a singular subject, given what you have conveyed, you have experienced, given your lack of drive." And then there's just a stare.
I think I don't know whether to say this. I think Zig would could say, yeah, you should really talk to Nida about that.
So let's take a tiny pause here. Sim, is this homebrew this is. I don't know where the term homebrew would come from here, because I think this is still all Starfinder, right, guys? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is all still using stuff in
The
Starfinder.
characters are home.
But obviously, every character's homebrew, right?
Yeah, that
Um,
was. Don't Ryan, you explain my joke.
That's my job. Yeah, the
Totally
story. Yeah,
like
Sim. Yeah,
It's definitely your interpretation of stuff.
it's okay.
Oh, right, yeah,
they've updated. So in the story,
Yeah.
the story's it's 100% me. Yeah, I have looked up 0 modules for this.
No,
'cause
it's not module. I know
No.
there are like EOX modules.
there's a whole bunch of modules actually for Starfinder that I have considered looking at, but I thought obviously you know me, I like having my own stories. Now,
Yes. you
so
are
Sim,
very
all
much.
3 of my games are all me, all me, buddy. It's a Monday's game, Wednesday's game, and Friday's game are all my own fault. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Although in the case of like your Friday setting, that is very much like
Oh, same here, right?
explicitly
Setting.
what the game encourages you to do. Well, not the game because you're using fifth for it, but the setting encourages you to basically make up your own setting. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, the Horned Rat was just them referencing Warhammer. It's not in Starfinder at all. Not at all.
Some of my best friends are.
Yeah, but the Osoki are kind of worship, I guess, an old grandmother rat.
Yeah,
Right,
they
so-
worship a sort of slightly sinister
Yeah.
rat god. Like she's definitely like a mendacious trickstery figure. I don't know if she's out
Yeah.
and out malicious, but she's definitely
Actually,
not
is
nice.
I don't know if she's even like is she neutral evil or something. As far as that, she might be. I don't remember
Maybe,
enough about.
yeah. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
but
But
no.
she
So
definitely does not come across as nice.
for the most part, I'd say this is at least my attempt at 98% Starfinder setting. There's definitely 2% there of maybe we fucked up something somewhere. Mostly just by not looking up actual facts about the setting. But everything else story-wise, all mine. Yeah, and the gang and what they've done to the story since. Yes.
The bits with the like my race of the Barai, because I think Paizo kind of thought up the Barai, went, that's a cool concept, and like wrote it down very quickly and sent it off to printers, and then never thought about it again.
Ever again. Ever. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they didn't even think about the fact that some species that already don't need to breathe would now need to breathe now that they're undead.
Yeah, so
Like
bizarre.
they just did not think it
So
through.
weird.
It's a great concept, and they've got like 2 pieces
Right,
of
we're
art.
not going to go into
and they look
a
really
crazy
cool.
rant about that. We'll cover that in the after chat.
I will not.
finish
I will,
the scene.
I
Yeah.
will cease the rant.
Just
I
while we're
apologise.
mid-scene. But yeah, thanks for the question though. It was quite a weird question to have to answer there. I quite liked it.
There you go.
Yes.
Interactivity.
But yes, welcome. We did do many catch-up sessions on the YouTube channel. Oh,
Horrifying.
oh. But those were some time ago now.
I think
It's
we need
just
to
mad.
catch up again.
Like it's mad. The last catch-up session was in fact, conveniently timed. My Stream Elements posted in the links. That was nice. Thank you, Stream Elements. That wasn't even me. Where are we? Where was the last catch-up chat? Because it is typed in. Oh my god, it was 42.5. So session 42.
Yeah, so there's a lot's happened since then.
Yeah, because we're on session 91. That's everything we did in the catch-up chat. We've done more since. Let that sink in.
Honestly, yeah, fair enough.
Well, to be fair, right? So Summit's kind of a catch-up chat, right? 'Cause that's the one you spoke to Edgar, was it not? Or is it?
Yeah. What it?
No,
It
it's
may or may
not. It isn't actually. God,
it's-
it's not. Oh my god, there's been so much. I feel like Summit was a catch-up chat though. And that was back at 54. Anyway, so we're
Title
getting
sounds catch up.
we're getting distracted.
there.
Yeah.
Say something weird.
Yeah. What are you gonna say back to him?
Something weird. That's kind of thrown me off. I've forgotten what he said.
Something.
I know. So the scene
Uh,
is that you and Urgalas are pretty much having a bit of an exchange, and
Yes.
you asked him what's he
And
going to do with
he-
the eggs.
Do with the eggs. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And then-
yes, and he was like,
Yeah, you're still on about those eggs, pal.
oh, and I said.
He basically, like,
might wanna
debased
talk
you,
to
right?
Naida about that.
Like he basically said you're persistent for somebody that doesn't seem to know what the hell they're doing with themselves. So you're uncharacteristically driven in this pursuit, but not anything else I've witnessed you pursue.
Yeah.
That's what he said to you. I think we were waiting on your response because you were like, I don't know if I'm going to say this. And that's where we are.
Yeah, no, I think he was just going to say.
Thank you, Brain.
Yes. You could ask Anida about that. I don't think he'd if like kind of look over to her and say, "Is she?" Well, I mean, you were okay after being crystallized, but I mean,
You care for
you
her?
okay? I care for all my friends.
And that is what she is to you.
Yes.
And you to her?
I think Big definitely pauses. And
then you get a montage of every time she gave you that really, like, warm, fuzzy reaction face that she always gave you anytime
Yeah.
she saw you. Yeah.
and he's like, "Nah, she hates me." Yes.
And then he says, then perhaps you will experience some of my loss. And then holds up his hand and you hear the cracking and she explodes into 1,000 tiny purple shards of crystal. And we end
Wow.
the
Well,
session there.
See, where's the bad guy?
Okay.
Good
And now
list.
he's
It's
the
a
bad
bad
guy.
guy.
Don't like him. He's a dick. He needs to die. He's going to die. Or Zig's going to die. Something bad's going to happen
Or-
next session.
Don't worry,
Or
time.
Zig needs to go back in time to stop tonight to going to that conversation.
That's the best idea. That's it.
And
See-
yeah, mindless, yeah. Just a little bit.
Oh.
I think, like, when was it we thought Urglass was maybe the bad guy again, guys? What session number was it? Do you remember?
2,
All of
3.
them?
Like, yeah, it was like way back at, I think, probably like 5 or 6, maybe? Yeah.
Somewhere along then, and I'm pretty sure.
5, 6,
Wait,
7, 8.
I'm pretty sure back then we knew he was like probably the final boss.
Which
Fine.
explains why
The
we got to
American-
session 91 by trying to avoid him. Oh dear.
Would
Nice.
you like secret?
No, what I'd like to know is what you're going to call the session first. And we'll
I've
move
got a
on.
suggestion.
So pop in your suggestions to the chats and such, and we'll do our votes as per usual. And we'll name the session. And yes, I can only recommend using the fluff and story of Starfinder in the system as little as possible, unless you super love the crunch of Starfinder, which we do
Oh,
not.
It's, it's Captain Crunchy. I'm not American, so I've never had that, but I imagine Captain Crunchy is crunchy.
Shaking the
Crunchy
ethereal.
nut. Kellogg's Crunchy nut. That's a good scene.
Right, what suggestions we got for names, guys? Hit me with them. What we got?
That's my suggestion, and I'm voting for myself.
It's far too long. It's
Vonnegut! Did you not make that reference on purpose?
like,
I thought you did.
regardless of the reference, Colin, it's too long, and
Uh,
that's the problem. I only do get so many characters to play with here, unlike the NPC list. Strange. There goes my heart rate again. It's plummeting now. Oh no, it's 48. Yep. Oh, 51, 53.
Shaking the ethereal.
Mm-hmm.
I will suggest that just for you.
Shattered Dreams. Okay. Shattered Dreams. I got one of those. Yep. Shaking the
It's not
ethereal as well.
ethereal,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Do you know, like, this is the trick. You don't need to be super creative. As long as you have an idea that you liked and you can make it work in the system, you're good enough, so don't worry about it. Right, so, smash hits. Is that what we're going with? Smash hits. God, it's so bad. Nico, you can do better than that. Nico. Oh dear. Yeah, is there any good puns with Thanaida or Queen or Goodbye or Shattered or Fractured or
Kill Ed Queen.
Hold on to Google.
Killed Queen?
Yeah, you
it's
have to
not.
spell
It's
it
not.
like
It's not terrible at all. Shatter the egg. Thanos. Yeah.
Don't you? Sorry, people don't know how I feel about Thanos.
Oh, I know.
But
I'm
how I
gonna,
feel
I'm gonna
about
suggest the Fractures of
for
Eternity.
Choose
Darkseid.
eternity.
Yeah. Because why not? We're really good at reusing that name.
Thanos,
Okay.
when I make a fist, is um.
Also, I thought you were gonna go with something like that, Colin. Not the way you did it, but Killed Queen.
Yeah, but the killed. I know the way
I
I've
am-
written it would be more authentically be pronounced something like killed. But I did it just because it sort of draws your attention to it, and it's
Mm.
actually still something grammatically you can do. But if anything, it would be pronounced sort of like the opposite.
I think it's
of
because
what I
I'm
was
playing on Killer Queen, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Right, votes, guys.
So
Get your
Killer
votes in unless
Queen.
you've got any other suggestions.
Guillotine, dynamite with guillotine. There you go. Dynamite with the guillotine, but it doesn't really make much sense. Dynamite gelatin.
I'm going to go with that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cal, what you voting for?
Oh, I'm gonna vote for myself because
Okay,
I'm
cool.
I'm
You
calling
vote for
today.
yourself. Okay. Can you fix it so it's got a capital D?
I
Shattered
I
Dreams
guess.
is what's getting the votes so far, folks.
You're actually gold dust. That was his. I always thought it was a flaw to have your finish would be something that was actually illegal, and therefore you had to cheat if you were going to win.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I don't know if we were just talking about Captain Marvel again, but that's fine. An endgame, just cheat to win. Get Shattered Dreams.
That's fine.
But I'm
100%.
also going to myself an honorary mention.
Okay, sure.
Because Smash Hits is just fucking.
It's gonna give you a wee absent one.
Diamond.
Yep. Okay, so we got that done. That's good. So Shattered Dreams. At least we can know Thanaida was a dream. Ugh. Right. So
She had dreams. There was dreams in the episode. She shattered.
I don't know. Like, it's fine, Nico. We've passed it. We've voted. It's Shattered Dreams. We've moved on. Right. So have we discovered what the Solarian crystal does yet, Zora? Let's review our goals.
Oh
God.
Right.
Of
Okay.
not.
Are we keeping that as a goal?
Yes.
Okay. Lyco, have we uncovered how your electroencephalon came to be?
I think that should stay on. We haven't completed it clearly, but I think it should stay on.
Yeah.
Simply because we're probably about. I don't. That was weird. Probably.
Probably. I like that. It's good.
About to speak to
Probably.
the man who is most likely to be that.
Yeah, it seems
But
like
no.
you're trying to summon Sindile. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe that's something that's about to come back to the fore. So I think keep it for now.
Excellent. And because remember last time you heard from him, he went off to go talk to Tectalanus. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Shot and
It'll be good to know how that's going as well.
Yep, go Tectalanus, head of the Bone Sages. Yep. And yeah, I don't even know why I'm trying to enunciate things to make sense down to that hasn't seen any of this. There's too much. So we're just going to keep his goal for some bizarre reason, and Zig.
I might need to change my goal.
Okay.
I'm not saying the void egg isn't here. Just might be an Librian standing in the way. Which might be difficult.
Well, how do you see the next moments of your life playing out? I didn't say the last moments.
Mind thrust and Mind.
One of the minds. Mind thrust, mind link, mind jump. Okay.
Have a mind jump.
Not yet.
Mind fly, right? You've got mind fly. Use the jump you can fly.
Well,
I meant just like jumping bodies. That's what I meant. Like just,
Wonder if he's got good EAC.
I mean, he kind of wears purple robes that hang off him. as Nico said, his frail frame. Not quite in those words Nico said, though. So, acquire the Void Egg. Is it still your plan? Because you're in the vault, right?
Cool things and an
Well,
Imperial
I'll
Muppet.
leave it, and I'll see how if I
actually.
survive long
Okay.
enough.
Okay.
Obviously.
Also, how are you going to get out the vault?
I don't know.
Okay.
Should have
I,
should
that's
have
just
that.
there's no point in me humming and hawing. I just don't know.
Okay, sure. It's
Wait
maybe
till
something
those-
to work on. I know, Ethereal Muppet would have been good too. I did suggest Ethereal fucking Muppet, and I would have deleted the fucking from it if need be. Right, general goals. Deliver Edgar to Triaxis. Are we still doing that?
Yeah, we're gone
Yeah,
now.
we should. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly quiet this episode, Edgar. Yeah. Discover what happened to Cece. Still.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Conclude the Kivalari case, because that seems what's happening, eh? Chakos, a wee bit of
Yeah.
Chakos and a wee
Getting
bit
there,
of, yeah. Gain useful MO info. Still going with that. He's also like, it seems important.
I think that's one that's sort of maybe not quite as foregrounded right at this second, but it's definitely going to be relevant if we're going to meet her.
Because you do have your email hard to get a meeting set up button. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Done
Okay.
it, yeah. I do
Yeah,
have.
true that. Then we've got ensure weird removes VESC safeguard protocols. Still on board with that, yeah.
100%.
Okay, cool.
One day, that
So-
ship will be clean.
So the goals are staying exactly as they are, is what you're telling me.
As the old will.
Yeah, as they will always be. Cool. In that case,
And we could maybe swap it something with the MO info just to get something to do with Zig right now, but I don't know what we would
I was
do
gonna
now.
say you would need to have a suggestion for what would be more important, right? So what's your suggestion? Something to do with Zig. In what way?
Just there's been so many get Zig back goals. I don't know if it's allowed to be a goal anymore. Like I don't.
You had your 5 rescue Zigs, now you can't anymore. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm not sure.
I mean, replace Zig isn't exactly the same goal.
I mean, let's just vanish for the face of the earth, man. I mean, maybe this is the last time. Maybe this is the last jump home.
Oh.
So
It's the final leap.
the final Zig, yeah. One to rule them all, and in the darkness shattered them. But anyway, so if you have no suggestions then, or if MD has no suggestions about how a Zig related goal could replace the MO goal, then I guess.
Well,
Any thoughts?
what if you could get him to share no, I really don't. I'm trying to think of something, but I'm.
I know
coming up
Zig
with
should have just really whipped it. Like if he had a good bluff score, he could have been like, yeah.
Yeah, Zig rescue goal. It's a Zig rescues himself goal.
What else did you see happening? Use rescuing Zig or Zig rescuing himself?
Rescuing him probably, but that's
Mm.
kind of like if yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know, but nah, it's fine. I can't get into any wordings.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Obviously, if you think about it before, say, before Thursday next week, yeah, you can let me know. If you have got one, we can update it. But you only let me know before Thursday, so I can actually maybe attempt to write it into the session. Maybe. It is jam-packed after all. Okay. So no goals completed as yet, but we're still doing well.
Yeah, it's time for it.
Yeah, we're getting there. So wrap up chat time. Let's start with our wonderful Captain Zora.
I
Hello,
thought I got a promotion
welcome.
there. I was excited.
I mean, Finida's gone. We're doing it. We're up a ship.
You might be getting a promotion, Michael.
Right. So yeah, Finida's smashed. Gone. Totally.
Mm.
What have you done, Zig?
Wasn't my fault. It's not my fault.
Oh, that's familiar.
What have you done?
Laughs and
I've become
Fenrir.
what I
that's-
swore
yeah.
to destroy.
It's really sad, you know.
Ooh, look, what you made me do.
It
I
is,
think
it is a bit sad, isn't it, Nico? I'm glad you were sad, and
I'm-
these other fuckers were
I'm
just
sad.
joking about it.
Goodbye, Carl, as well. It's dead to air as well.
Yeah, out with
the-
the old.
Mhm.
out with the hold.
Actually, out with the old would have been a good title. Actually,
It's the old,
Wow.
the Carl.
I mean, neither was the old Drow Queen. Like, it's not like it's still
Yeah.
apt. Yeah.
He's probably one of the oldest living beings at that point
Mhm.
in this system, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Living is definitely the key word for that qualifier. Yeah.
Let's see. What else happened in this jam-packed session of
Mhm.
craziness? Hourglass is bad.
You think so?
Aye. I mean, confirmed, right?
It's like
Pretty bad,
real
did
piece of shit.
No, that I really had any
Mhm.
like other thoughts of that. He was probably bad. It's a giant purple ethereal muppet. Like, it's obviously bad.
Clearly, with those qualifiers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearly.
Equals bad. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, he
So
just
good.
seems bad.
I mean, up until the
Yeah.
Tenida smashing part, right? I don't know. He seemed alright.
Yeah, I don't know. Seemed like he was just putting up with. He was trying not to snap the little mouse in front of him so he could get what he wanted. It's like, no, don't break him yet. No.
He definitely
Not yet.
sure. He didn't need to share though what he did, right? He definitely chose to share more than he needed to.
Hubris.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hubris.
It is a a hindrance all villains have to take. Sadly. Man, what a system.
Yeah. It was good. It was good to be back after like a.
I know a month off. It's why technically very little sets were used in this episode. It was good. We had a coroner's office, then we had Here's Your Flare, and then we had everything Zig went through. So yeah. Good. Anything else, bud?
Nah, that's it.
Lyco.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that was intense.
Mm.
Poor Zig and poor Callum. That must have been stressful.
Yeah. I don't know if you can tell as well. I'm getting really tired.
I can't. No, you done well. You done well.
Mhm.
I have to admit, like I'm a bit tired today. Not too bad. I'm a little bit tired too. It gets late and you start to flag a little. It happens. You held up. Man.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that was. I didn't really expect him to go there after he was sort of willing to actually talk and interact. Like maybe if he'd sort of immediately snapped to.
Mm.
I'm a little. I'm not entirely surprised because we clearly have seen that he is willing to go to extreme length. And I think nothing that he said makes him sound like a villain, but he's definitely hiding stuff. He's clearly either not willing or not able to talk about why he was exiled.
Yeah, the only things I got from that scene was the what was the emotion I described again? God, I described it as I was being exiled.
It was like sorrow and
Yeah, like so. No,
It's
like that was after
injustice.
it. Yeah, it was injustice. That was it. Yeah, like the.
Anger.
But
Yeah.
again, like this is his feeling,
Yes.
right? He
Yeah.
feels like he has been the victim of an injustice. He feels like this sort of was a kangaroo court. But of course he feels that way. They exiled him and punted him into space.
Yeah.
You would feel that way regardless of whether he's right. So
It's that mirror place in Superman's lore. What I can't remember what it's called. See when they imprison people.
Phantom Zone.
The Phantom Zone. Yeah, it's not a million miles away from that vibe, is it? Just locked in a mirror and void into space.
Yeah. So I definitely think there's a possibility there that there was good reason that he was locked away.
But then, if you imagine the events that follow, if he was one of the few people that said maybe we shouldn't build a giant gun that blows up planets, and everybody else was like, "This sounds like a great idea, though. Why wouldn't we?" Then yeah. So it's vague enough that was he an advocate for like not being like space oppressors?
Or maybe he just said to them, look, your plan is going to backfire. The energy from the weapon can't be properly dispersed. If you listen to my... Maybe he wasn't one of like the military being cast into the Phantom Zone. Maybe he was...
the Jor-El of the...
Jor-El, yes. Telling them that this planet is going to blow up. Except not quite. But yeah, maybe he was the Jor-El. Or even the Zor-El, to get slightly deeper in it. Zor-El was a bit more fucked up. So yeah, like there's definitely the possibility there. I'm such a fucking nerd.
We're here playing
There's
an
definitely
RP, don't worry about it.
there that what he's not talking about because he's aware, maybe, that it wouldn't come across particularly great, and he wants to use Zig. Like he does feel okay. This creature may actually be the key here.
I think the evidence for that is that he literally appeared in front of Zig saying, basically, like, give me the egg. So that is definitely very clear that he clearly needs Zig for that. Yeah. At least in that moment, at least.
So I think, like, yeah, and I think also that ties in with the idea that he sort of shows off his power, his ability to just go click his fingers and snuff out a powerful being, right? By doing so, obviously intimidating Zig, but he's not willing to actually do it to Zig because he doesn't want to lose the tool that Zig is to him. So I think like there's just definitely I definitely think there's a possibility that whatever he's hiding actually really is like not something that he would want Zig to know, right? He's not just doing it out of shame, probably. But you know, I could be wrong. So I'm very intrigued by that. And I wonder if that's something that our old friend might be able to advise us of.
Yeah.
Vindale. So I'll be very curious to see what he has to say in the matter.
Definitely. Plus, it was the first time we kind of got any insight into Urgalas, kind of at all, ever.
Oh yeah. It's the first time he's really felt like he had a personality. Because when we spoke before, we couldn't understand him. None of us had learned Eoxian yet.
Yeah. And I think even Alice at the time was like, "This is like old. This is old. This is barely Eoxian." Yeah. Because I think she's the one that translated his name on the way out on the ship. Remember?
Yes. Yeah.
It was like, I've translated it. It's Urgalas.
I definitely feel like, yeah, there's something up here, and it's not just his plan. There's something in his past. So yeah, it was fun for me to watch poor Callum being stuck in a terrible life or death situation where he was constantly stepping in eggshells so as not to get blown up or vaporized.
Fair.
That, to me, that was fun.
Yeah.
I like to. Yeah, we also got a little bit of advancement on the Shakos question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little tired too now and starting to go on. But like, I obviously that's something to come back to next session. But we do have like she never left that ship, presumably, right? She got back there and then seems to have been isolated, and now she's in a... Yeah, to me, that reads the situation with her is not great.
Yeah.
Like medical coma, generally not a good sign. But
no.
I'm very curious to see how he responds. Because
yeah,
I'm concerned.
And just, I guess, what Babak's up to now anyway, as well, right? Just in general, I guess, where he's off to. What's he up to? What's he doing? Where is he orbiting or pursuing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm concerned what exactly he is up to. Like,
Mm.
this is all a bit weird. And maybe he isn't as squeaky clean. Well, we know he's not as squeaky.
No,
But
he's
maybe
too clean to be, clean.
too clean to be too hot to be cool. Yeah.
No,
So
but
yeah,
already
I'm very curious.
discovered the problem of the day. I know the problem. We already discovered the day. He just uses idiots like us.
Oh, we know that. Yeah.
We know, we're those idiots. We know that. Yep. Yeah.
I prefer to think of myself as a resource.
Yeah. But he paid in kind, right? You did get Ivan back. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like, he's at least willing to pay.
Anyway, those are my thoughts.
I
Do
did.
with them as you wish.
Catalogued, as per usual. And Zig.
That was a lot. First of all, it was nice to actually play with you lovely, gentle people.
Wasn't it?
It was nice. It was.
It was nice to be back.
I mean, it definitely felt like ripping the Band-Aid off, as opposed to like a nice eased.
I mean, they got the eased session, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely very Ziggy, but maybe soon to be Ziggy Stardust. But yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I love that like Ergolas is not I don't want to say he isn't unreasonable, because he kind of is, but he's reasonable enough that he obviously thinks he's in the right, and he knows he's in the right, the same way Zig is always in the right in Zig's mind.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is obviously fear for his life. Because, Ergolas is big, scary, and probably could squish him, I imagine.
I mean, maybe.
Squishing. But
Maybe.
Summons giant
But at
foot.
the same time, I think Zig also has this weird feeling of like seeing the similarities between them.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's kind of terrifying.
It is a wee bit
To Zig.
scary how many similarities are between Zig and Ergolas, quite frankly. Yeah.
And I think also like being on the sort of receiving end of the mind linky type kind of thing, maybe kind of hits home, like how like taxing it is on someone to have someone else's thoughts put on. Like he's not really thought about it like that before.
Yeah, because you witnessed him share things that weren't his memories as well. Like he's now carrying more memories than he had before. Yeah. It's interesting.
So but yeah, I'm like, first of all, I'm really excited to see what happens next. And I'm also like, I don't know what Zig's gonna do.
What do you think Ergolas is doing? Like, what's your theory?
My theory is to kind of, obviously Zig's shown to get some sort of grasp of how he feels and stuff, and like he's like, and Ergolas is trying to show him how driven he is to get his goal achieved. And maybe even Ergolas is seeing some of the similarities between himself and Zig. But that severe lack of drive that Zig seems to be displaying is maybe almost insulting to someone.
Yeah, because he
like
kind of calls you out
Ergolas.
in that, doesn't he? He's like, how dare you
Yeah.
approach me with such drive when you barely approach yourself with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he's attempting to give Zig some drive to do something, or to to make him lash out and be like, okay, now you stand against me. You don't. There's none of this necessary. I'm not necessarily against you. I'm not necessarily for you. Now you stand against me, or now you're breaking it and you're going to give me everything I want.
I think as well, like, there's a lot
Who
of you
knows?
can look at a lot of the fact that he definitely seems to disagree with what has happened to his home since he was exiled. And I think that'll give you a lot of views into him, right? Because
Yes.
he clearly does not like what has happened. Obviously, I've done some cutscenes way back in the past, with him turning up on certain places, doing certain things to a certain effect. And then obviously you'd have seen the after effects of the exodus from Eox. Yeah, like, definitely a distaste at what has happened to his, I guess, planet, people, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's interesting. Obviously, he did bring up things you have tried to fix multiple times.
Yes.
Yep, and I guess you're still in the process of continually making sure that you don't go back and change things like you promised yourself you wouldn't do.
Yeah, I feel like going back in, like seeing if he can go back far enough in time
Yeah,
to
12
witness
times the charm.
whatever. No, that's it. He's going to go all the way back to pre-Eox, and kill Hermione. Not Hermione.
Pre-Eox?
God damn.
Not how many? Urgalas?
Yes, Legolas.
Right, okay.
Or side with him, depending on what happens when he gets exiled.
Turns up as his lawyer
Let him
in his
out
trial.
early.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, what if you intercepted him early, right? That's only going to rewrite the start of the game.
Errors are originating from his containment, maybe?
The game ends, and we have to restart the game.
So, Colin, what do you mean by that? Like, do you mean
Because I have a feeling that if he were this powerful before he was chucked into the
how could they chuck him? Yeah.
yeah. And secondly, there's definitely something very weird about the method of his imprisonment, and maybe they weren't anticipating getting blown up so much because they didn't leave him, for instance, and therefore they didn't intend for him to be in prison for nearly that long, and perhaps as a result, he was suffused with dramatically more psychic energies than he should have been, or something to that effect.
Well, think of it this way, right? What
Hard to
do you know from the meta, right? You know from the meta that the Eoxians turned to their current condition at a last resort, right?
Yeah.
It was the last thing they turned to, arguably because it worked, right? Arguably. You wouldn't keep looking for your keys when you find them. So,
That's
yeah, right? But so the last thing they turned to was necromancy. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the Eoxians think of themselves almost above that, right? Like if it was the last thing they fall to. And
yeah, it's not necessarily something that they were particularly eager to go for. It was a last resort and not necessarily in line with their pre-existing values.
So, if that's the case, we've never seen Urgalas use anything like that. We've mostly just see him turn people to goop, or kind of just really, like, easy expressions of raw power, right? There's been nothing other than that level, and it does seem creepily like a creepy psychic entity or like a super powerful thing. So, yeah, you do wonder what his source is in this to be such a threat to 150, give or take, bone sages. Now, this is something that I obviously would have went in more detail with earlier when Zora was joking earlier about, he's not a bone sage, so it doesn't matter. But the bone sages all ran away from him. So that should be scary.
I think it's more that it just doesn't trigger Zora's phobia.
Yeah. Zora's phobia is like, it's okay, it's fine. Muppet, not bone sage. Everything's fine. This Muppet killed 150. Doesn't matter. Not a bone sage. Like, I don't think you know how that works. Never mind. It's okay. Desk logic. This is good.
Yeah, but it's true. It's like the 18-wheeler that's hurtling towards you isn't a spider.
Yeah.
And that's fair, because I think if Vesk have like strong driven mentality like trained into you early, that would make sense, right? The one thing you fear is the one thing you're trained not to think about, or you're conditioned to not correlate it to anything, thus making you scared of more things, right? That would make sense to me. But yeah, anyway, back to the conversation at hand. Zig, anything else to add, buddy? Obviously, we lost tonight. It seems that seems pretty like
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks. I'm just not going to talk about it. We're moving on.
okay, fine. I was going to mention
yeah.
his last words too and stuff then, but okay, maybe not then.
Oh no, wait,
Um,
what?
Just what Urglass
Um,
said, you know, and perhaps this
Oh yeah.
will help you feel some of the loss I do.
And I feel like that's not fair. Oh well, obviously, Argalas doesn't know that, and I mean Zig hasn't lost a planet yet.
Argalas does know you've lost a lot though, because you shared a lot.
Yeah. And I think the fact that he knew you were on Yox tells you he was clearly perusing more than you showed him.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what Argalas is about Zig wise. You know.
I'm excited
Um,
for next time as well.
Very excited for next time. I'm also very curious, and I'm kind of regret not asking, is that how like when they're crystallized, are they aware of all that time? Because if he was just crystallized and like fully conscious and aware that whole time, you can see how he'd get a bit twisted up and
Yeah,
not
just
very
mad.
happy.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
who knows how long. Yeah. Especially, we don't know what, like, so the gap obviously happened, as we know. And this
Yeah.
seems to be like another experience of the gap that isn't standard. Because obviously his first thing was Galarian is gone.
Yeah.
Like, there was definitely like a...
How could he not have noticed?
Right? Especially when he went to Absalom.
Maybe he just wasn't looking where he thought it would be in the orbit. It's like, oh, it'll be the other side of the sun. That's fine. I don't have to worry about this right now.
Right? But it's a very, like, it's a very valid point. Right? It's kind of hard not to notice a planet. Right? And I don't know if anyone knows their Pathfinder lore, but the Starstone used to be on Galarian.
Yeah.
So, if he was aware of that, which he seemed to be, since he went and took the Starstone, according to Sindile, it's a bit weird that he didn't notice it wasn't on the planet it should be on.
Ooh, unless he's perceiving...
Right.
Unless he's perceiving it as if it were.
So that's...
He wants his world to be back to what it was. Could he be doing something to... Could he be trying to merge future and past, and therefore not always necessarily knowing which is which?
Maybe explains why I want Zig, because Zig's really bad at that. Timelines, you know? Although at least he's kind of explained somewhat by calling you unstuck in time, right? Or dislodged.
That's the thing I thought you were referencing Vonnegut with.
Yeah. But like, it wasn't specifically referencing that. It was merely just because it's kind of true when you look at Zig with his 11 attempts to fix the timeline. Canonically 11. Yeah.
Canonically?
Yeah.
You know, nanically.
I was going to say, canon's a bad word for Glass. Don't mention it. But yeah. So, I think what you can mostly take away from this is poor Urgalas is upset he didn't get a chance to stop his planet being blown up by the people that chucked him into space. That's fair. And then he went and spoiled it all by doing something like exploding Tenida.
What bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that does hammer home the I don't see myself as an irrational, bad guy, but also you think you know me, well now you can learn a bit more about me. Here's some loss. Yeah. I mean, could have been a bonding moment.
Edge there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, anything else, Callum?
No, it was great. I mean, it was nice that Captain Admiral and Lyko were existent, and I did appreciate the... Oh, come on. Where's Zig? Fuck's sakes.
They tend to go, let's look for him.
We're not angry.
How to find, yeah. We're not angry, we're just
I think we'd be
concerned.
good at this by now.
Mhm.
Maybe a bit disappointed.
Yep, concerned, disappointed. It's like when your mum loses you at the shopping mall. Yep, yep. Terrible, terrible tracking of the kid Zig. Oh,
But he's
dear.
not actually at the toy stall because
No.
he's always difficult.
No, he's hiding in one of those clothes racks, in the centre
Aye.
of them. That's where he is. Yep. Oh dear. But anyway, thank you all for playing. It was lovely to be back. Fuck knows when we're running again. Let's hope it's a week, but who knows. Until next time, guys. Say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Everybody.